Hello. Hello, everyone. Alchemist here. I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are. Thank you very much for joining this live. This is another live that I'm hosting today. And I hope that you can learn from these lives and you can use the information that I share with you for your spiritual growth and to find out who you truly are. So, in this live, we're going to talk about sleep paralysis, the paranormal experiences, and also I'm going to answer your questions because this is a Q&A session. So if you have any questions, leave them in the chat section and I'll do my best to answer them. This is not a tarot reading session. Remember that. So just if you have like a tarot question, a divination question, know that I can answer it in another live that is specific for tarot. Okay? Donations are welcome, but your questions are not guaranteed to be answered because I get hundreds of questions in the chat section. So I have to see the questions that are beneficial for the collective, for everyone. So please be respectful in the chat and know that if you have a question that everyone can benefit from, you're welcome to write it down, but there's no guarantee that it's going to be answered. And if it's not answered in this live, maybe in another live, I'll do my best to answer it. So thank you very much. Hello to all of you who have already joined. Hello, Lona, Keith. Hello, Blissful, Adelina, Strega Era, Inawich. Thank you very much uh, for joining. Sacred Reflections 91. Hello, Dinan. Hello, thank you guys for joining. Inawich, thank you as well. Thank you. Yeah, I'm doing these lives recently, and hopefully, they help you guys and they help all the viewers. So thank you very much for joining as well. I appreciate it. Athena, Kat, D, Eva, Angel, hello, Attender, Actress, Chansey West, hello, hello everyone, hello to all of you who have joined, and so I'm gonna start by talking about, before I move on to talk about sleep paralysis experiences and paranormal experiences, I'm gonna start talking about cycle number 9 because I wrote it down there in the title. And for some of you might be wondering about the meaning of this cycle number 9. What is it? What does it mean? But I'm gonna proceed to explain it. In the meanwhile, you can leave your questions if you have any questions. If not, I'm gonna also explain sleep paralysis. So cycle number 9 in Feng Shui, which is an Eastern tradition which stems from Taoism. It's a spiritual tradition that is that comes from China. So in Feng Shui, there are time is defined through cycles, and these cycles, each cycle lasts 20 years, and there's a total of 20 cycles. Okay, which gives up 180 years. So we have 9 cycles. Each cycle has 20 years, and the total is 180 years. And each cycle is represented by an element and by certain characteristics and elements. Okay? And it just happened that we entered cycle number 9, the last cycle or the 9th cycle in 2024. It usually takes 1 year for that transition to happen between the cycles. So 2024 was the transitional year to cycle number 9. And it's going to last from 2024 all the way to 2044. So cycle number 9 is going to be 20 years. And this cycle is determined by the element of fire. And it's going to be very different from cycle number 8, which we just left. Cycle number 8 lasted from 2004 to 2024. And that was the earth element. So cycle number 8, which we just left, was defined by the earth element and by the energy that was ruling the past 20 years was the energy of um, like materialistic things, construction, real estate, laws, rules, hermiting, being grounded, the physical reality, very dense. That's why a lot of people in the past 20 years, if you have noticed it all around the world, they were into investing money, materialistic things, money, 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 money. Most millionaires and rich people, they invested in real estate, construction, building, 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 being conservative with money, and archaic or traditional rules that were applied, saving money in the bank, investing money, and just using resources in a very traditional way that is very grounded, very earth element related. So that's cycle number 8. And if you notice, that's what the past 20 years has been like. In the next cycle, which started in 2024, it's going to be completely different. It's going to be almost the opposite. Now it's the elements of fire. So instead of the elements of earth, it's going to be the elements of fire. So we have the rise of the feminine energy. Cycle number 8, it was dominated by masculine energy, which is the earth energy. Now it's going to be the rise of feminine energy. Fire is very flexible and it's very adaptable as well. Fire can move, can dance, it can flow just like water. It's a magical element. So we're going to notice in the next 20 years, from 2024 to 2044, the rise of the feminine energy. A lot of women are going to start ruling instead of men. They're going to start dictating what needs to be done or not. We're going to have the rise of authenticity amongst humans and spirituality, meaning that all of the old diagrams, the old dogmas or paradigms that used to work for representing yourself, following rules and like showing to the world just this one facade and hiding who you truly are, that's not going to work anymore. You have to actually show who you are in the next 20 years, being authentic. And we have that rising with social media, with even the stuff that we are doing right now on YouTube, on TikTok, on people just filming themselves talking and showing the world who they are. We're going to have the rise of spirituality and spiritual teachings, and people just coming out from that hermit stage, coming out from that hiding. People are not going to be hiding anymore, and they're going to start showing themselves to the world. We have this even with the rise of technological advancements, including AI. So the people who are not going to adapt to this new energy that's going to last from 2024 to 2044, the people who are not going to adapt to this, they're going to stay behind. If whatever you were doing in the past, let's say 5, 6 years, was not working out for you and it just didn't give any results, it's a sign that you need to switch it up. It's a sign that you need to change it because the energy has shifted and it's going to be completely different in the next 20 years. Whatever is going to work is not what have worked in the past 20 years. So think about all the professions, all of the ways people made a living in the past 20 years. That's going to be obsolete. So think about the 9 to 5, going to get a degree so you can get a job, so you can work in an office, so you can do what your boss tells you to do all the time. That's not going to work. Some of it is going to remain, but the world is going to shift towards the feminine divine. And we're going to notice uh, the rise of just people trying to seek spiritual truth in general, people trying to find uh, what's the truth, what is this existence is all about. People are going to wake up to the idea and to the fact that it's not going to be about money anymore. It's not going to be about um, what was important in the past 20 years, which is just making money and becoming a millionaire or a billionaire so everyone can give you validation and everyone can label you as a rich person. Because up until now, that's what's been working in the world. Work, make tons of money, especially if you're rich, and then become a millionaire or billionaire, and you get validation from the world, and that's it. And then the whole world knows you, and you become famous, you become a celebrity, and that's it. And it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter what field you operate in, it doesn't matter if you hurt the planet, if you hurt animals, if you hurt other human beings, it doesn't matter if you wage wars, it doesn't matter if you contribute into the misery and suffering of other people, it doesn't matter if you contribute to the killings of other people, it doesn't, none of that matters. What matters is that you're rich. What matters is that you have accumulated tons of money. That's what people were focusing on in the past 20 years. Now it's going to be different. Now people are going to be seeking the truth because the feminine divine is going to rise. And the feminine divine is very different from the masculine divine, because the masculine divine is all about power and control and proving to others that I can do this. The ego, the feminine divine, is completely different. It's the opposite. So I just wanted to share this with you because we're entering this an important era, and it's gonna last 20 years. And at the end of at 2044 is gonna be the end of 180 years cycle, which is mind blowing. Because after that cycle, another era of another 180 years is gonna start. So this is, and again in numerology, number 9 represents the end of a cycle. So this is the end. This 20 years for the people who are gonna hopefully make it for the next 20 years, if you're gonna be alive. This is it. This is the end of one era that has lasted for a very, very long time. 180 years, that's a long time. So this is the time for you to work on yourself, to transmute yourself, to transform, to become who you are, to become authentic, to seek your inner truth deep within you, to not chase money and people and materialistic things. If you don't understand these things, you're not going to make it to the next transition. It's going to be the like a new phase. It's where think about it. It's where you enter this phase where there's a separation of dimensions. And either you're going to manifest a life that's in this next era that's going to be completely different and probably beautiful, or you're going to be stuck in this era that is governed by archaic materialistic laws and money, and you're going to be stuck in it until you die and reincarnate again in it because you haven't learned the lesson. Because we're here to learn lessons. If you don't learn lessons, you repeat cycles over and over and over. It's actually the goal of being reincarnated. It's not to accumulate money, it's not to hoard money, because a lot of people get it twisted. And even in the spiritual community, that's what people are even labeling what spiritual or what's being spiritual is all about nowadays, because um, they measure spirituality with success. If you're successful, that means you're spiritual. If you're broke, it means you're not spiritual, or because your vibrations are low. And the people with high vibrations, they're the ones who have money because they have high vibrations. So that even this kind of this kind of negative way of or this negative spirituality have infiltrated even the spiritual community. It's like something that's rotten. It's like an apple that looks beautiful from the outside. You open it and it's rotten in the inside. And that rotten part, you can't see it unless you take a bite, unless you open the apple, then you see the rotten part. So spirituality has become like that. We live in a day and age that it's hard to trust people who label themselves spiritual or gurus or teachers or whatever. It's hard because you don't know what's really what they're thinking, uh, what's their true purpose, because a lot of them are millionaires. Last time I checked, there has never been a sage that changed the world who was a billionaire or a millionaire. That never existed. The Buddha was a millionaire, but he left it all behind. He was a prince and he left his royalty to become a sage. It's not the other way around. Jesus was never a billionaire or a millionaire. And many of you probably know what Jesus said about the rich. And many traditions of ancient past have talked about what kings and rulers and royals, what they do, like what they end up doing. Most of them, I'm not saying that all of them are bad, but what most of them have done, it's the opposite of spirituality. So we're not entering this cycle to repeat this cycle, this number 9, this new cycle. We're not entering it so we can repeat the past 20 years that was governed by money, by the masculine energy. It's not going to be about that anymore. And if you're going to keep being in that like energy, if you're going to keep being in that way of thinking that you just have to work to make money because making money equals success. And I'm sorry, the reason why I'm saying this, because I see it everywhere. No, that's what I see everywhere is money, 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 money. And even in the spiritual community, the spiritual gurus and the teachers, they only talk about success and money. It's getting out of hand. It's really getting out of hand. So the next 20 years, if you're stuck in this paradigm, that's it. It's going to be too late for you to shift. Well, I try not to use this word because I don't want to sound too fluffy, but it is going to be a shift. It is. It is transitioning into another dimension. So this knowledge has existed in Feng Shui, and Feng Shui stems from Taoism. It's 2,500 years old. It's knowledge from 2,500 years ago. And they have been talking about this, about the cycles of 180 years. We're at the end of that 180 years. So, cycle number 9, we're at the end. Remember to shift into this new realm, into this new energy that is coming, that is governed by the divine feminine. And divine feminine is all about passion, love, compassion, and authenticity. That's what the divine feminine is all about. It's about caring for each other, helping each other. So please remember to embark on this new energy. And it is represented by the element of fire. So we're leaving the element of earth behind. Now it's time to become fiery. So I wanted to share this with you. I'm not sure if some of you were aware about this cycle, the Feng Shui cycles. And in the East, and people who practice Taoism and Feng Shui, they know this very well. But I just wanted to share this with you because it's really, really interesting. Um, uh, so I'm gonna see if some of you have written any questions. I'm gonna say anyway hi to all of the newcomers. Thank you very much for joining. Hello, hello, Dori Caveira, Pierre, Becca, Nefera. Hello, JF8, Rezia. Hello. Thank you so much for all of you who just joined. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm gonna check about. I see some questions here. Let's see. Yeah. Kat D said, "Hi, thank you so much for covering sleep paralysis. I have dealt with it for the past few years." Yeah, so sleep paralysis. So sleep paralysis is a it, it's a subject that is confusing to a lot of people, and it happens to some people. It doesn't happen to everyone. It happens to some people, and it has sleep paralysis has been around since the beginning. It's not something new. Even ancient scriptures have talked about sleep paralysis. The ancient Greeks have talked about sleep paralysis. So it's not something that just came out of nowhere or something that is recent um, to this generation or to this era, but it's something that it's been around. And for the people who don't understand sleep paralysis, I'm going to explain it to you. Personally, I'm not explaining it to you because I read it somewhere. I'm explaining it to you because it has happened to me countless times. It doesn't happen anymore. But during my youth, in my 20s, I used to have sleep paralysis almost once a month or even twice a month sometimes. It was so frequent. And I do share my experience my in detail for sleep paralysis in another video, and I talk about it in detail about what happened to me, how it started, especially when I was living in Japan. So you can check that video if you want to. But sleep paralysis, for the people who never experienced it or who have heard about it, it is when you wake up in the middle of the night, okay, and it's scary. So you wake up, you're sleeping, and it could be in any position. You could be sleeping on the front, on the back, or even on the side. And you wake up in the middle of the night. You open your eyes and you can't move your body. You realize that your body is frozen. You can't control it. The only thing you can control are your eyes. You can move your eyes. Your eyes can move. So you can see the your peripherals, basically whatever your eyes can allow you to see, you can see that. But your body cannot move. It's frozen. So when that happens, it becomes a scary situation because you can't move your body. You're paralyzed. That's why it's called paralysis. And paralysis is a scary thing. People who are paralyzed, they suffer. They go through a lot of trouble to live a normal life. If you can't use your hands, if you can't use your feet, if you can't use your body, that's probably the scariest thing anyone can imagine. So imagine that happens to you when you're asleep, but then you wake up and you're paralyzed. So what happens after that is some people start to see things. And it's not just from one person. This is not, again, this is written in ancient books as well. People start to see spirits or entities or things they cannot explain, things that are there, but they're actually not there at the same time. And most of the time, the entities that come, they're scary. They're very, 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 very scary. And they try to freak the person out. They try to scare you. They try to give you a very negative experience. And that's why a lot of people who get sleep paralysis, they are scared of sleep paralysis. They are frightened of it. I personally I've known some people who started having. So there was this friend, and he just started. This happened many years ago, like almost more than a decade ago. And I was very accustomed with sleep paralysis, and we used to sometimes hang out. And then sleep paralysis hit him all of a sudden. It just appeared in his life out of nowhere. And I remember he was a guy who was very scared of anything that's spiritual and spirits in general. The moment there was a conversation about spirits, he doesn't want to hear it. Because usually the people who are scared of spirits, ghosts, and the paranormal, those are the people who are gifted. Those are the people who can see spirits. And that's why they're scared of it. So I remember whenever we had a gathering and we tried to speak about sleep paralysis, everyone would want to hear or want to share their experiences, and he would be the only one who leaves the room. And he's like, I don't want to hear anything. So fast forward, sleep paralysis hits him, and he comes running to me because he knew that I had sleep paralysis countless times. He knew that I was the the master of sleep paralysis, if you will. Because sleep paralysis doesn't scare me at all. It used to, as I told you, in my early 20s, the first time I've had those experiences, but I got so used to it, and I even found ways to break out of it, and it doesn't scare me at all. And it stopped even happening to me. It doesn't happen to me anymore. But so he came to me, that person came to me asking for advice. And I gave him all of the advices I could about that he shouldn't be scared, that the entity, because he saw an entity. That's the detail I left out. Sleep paralysis happened to him, and he was frozen, paralyzed, and he starts to see this entity, this like figure that scares him. And he described it to me, and I told him that it's just a spirit that's trying to scare you. Your gifts and abilities are awakening. You refuse to see them, but the reason why these spirits come to bother you is because they know that you're gifted. They know that you have the gift of seeing. And he didn't want to hear it. He didn't want to believe it. He's like, that's not what I want in my life. I don't want to see spirits. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see that. Why is this happening to me? Sleep paralysis kept happening to him. Next thing you know, he went to see a doctor because he couldn't deal with it anymore. So he literally went to see a doctor, and many people go to see a doctor when they have sleep paralysis. The problem is, I knew what was going to happen, and I knew what the doctor was going to tell him, because the people who have sleep paralysis, when they go to see a doctor in the medical field, you're diagnosed as someone who has a lot of stress. So, medically speaking, from a medical standpoint, you have sleep paralysis when you're stressed out, when you have problems in your life, and that manifests in the sleep paralysis. Your body cannot take it, or your mind can't control it, and then you start having these episodes of your body becoming paralyzed. So they relate it to stress. The medical field relates sleep paralysis to stress, and they basically tell you need to sleep more. They give you some pills to sleep, and they tell you that you should reduce the stress in your life if you don't want to have sleep paralysis. And they say that the ghosts and the spirits that you see, all of these things that people see during sleep paralysis, they diagnose it as hallucinations. They say your mind make you see these things. They don't exist. They're not real, but your mind make you see these things, and you shouldn't worry too much about it. But in the medical field, or in science in general, up until now, there has been nothing that could prove the existence of spirits or ghosts. Nothing. There are some people who have experimented with some devices or machines that can measure the energy of where the ghost is. They go to haunted places and they do some studies, some research, and they get some signals. And but there's nothing official in science or in the medical field that says spirits, ghosts, or even the paranormal in general is factual. Okay? So when you go see a doctor, they're going to tell you you're hallucinating. That's all they're going to tell you, and they're going to give you pills to sleep. But sleeper, or if you start saying too many crazy things and start describing these entities, and if the episodes get really, really serious, they might even diagnose you with schizophrenia. So be careful. So when you go to see a doctor for things like this, be very careful. Okay, because you don't want to end up in an institute for mentally ill people, even though there's nothing wrong with you. I'm just telling you. When these things used to happen to me at first, I kept it to myself. I told very, very few friends that I trusted, and then I learned to live with it because it is real. For the very few people who are gifted, they will see spirits, scary spirits. And the reason why these scary spirits come to you at the first place when you have a sleep paralysis experience, the reason why they come to you is because they know you can see them. Otherwise, they wouldn't come to you. So they come to bother you. It's the same way for any person who, let's say, they get the attention of other people, like celebrities or like famous people. They get love, but they get hate at the same time. They have a lot of people who are going to hate them. Like even in these lives, in the chat section, there is hate comments as well. So when you gifts become activated, when your third eye opens, you're going to attract good spirits, but you're going to attract bad spirits as well. Because they're going to be like, okay, I see that this person can see us. You think you see us? Let me show you how it is. And they go and they try to bully you. They try to scare you. Because how dare you, a regular human, you're not supposed to see us. How dare you see us? We're superior. We're better. We see you. You're not supposed to see us. So when they learn that you can see them, they're going to come to scare you. They're going to try to bully you. That's what it is. And the sleep paralysis experience that I had when I was young, they were very frightening. The kind of entities I saw, it's really like things that will shake you, things that will frighten you. And that's why if even if you notice my old videos about sleep paralysis, I never describe what I saw because I don't want to give you ideas because it is really really scary. It's scarier than scary movies. And with time, with experience, with research, because knowledge can help you become less fearful. You fear what you don't know. The more you do research, the more you know what's going on, the more you research. And that's what I did in the beginning of my journey when I started researching the occult, spirituality, the energy, chakras, Eastern traditions, alchemy. And the more I um, progressed with my research, with my work, I understood that that's just a normal experience that will happen to people who are gifted, and there are ways to break out of it. There are ways to to not to overcome the sleep paralysis, if you will. But if you fear it, it's gonna get worse. It's the same as do you know that you attract what you fear? So if there's an animal that you fear, there's a high chance that you're going to see that animal over and over and over because fear is energy too. And if you fear something, it's the energy of that fear is going to attract that thing towards you. And by the way, for these entities that come to bother people during sleep paralysis, they come to feed off fear because fear is energy. So uh, the low entities, the negative, malicious entities, they usually have low vibrations. They feed off fear. And when they see that you're very scared, they adore it, they enjoy it. Because that fear, your fear, is like food for them. So keep that in mind. So that's sleep paralysis in a nutshell. But I'm going to see if you have some questions that relate to that, and then we can move forward. Um, Hello to all the people who just joined. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello, 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 Krista, Michelle. Hello, Violetta, Sophia. So, hello. I see that you wrote some comments about, some of you have written comments about the cycle number 9 that I addressed in the beginning of this video. For those of you who haven't seen that portion, you can review it later at your own convenience. The split of humanity, my Magi or Magi said, the split of humanity. It's supposed to happen at some point. Actually, that's what it is. That's cycle number 9, because all of the ancient traditions have talked about we're entering this new era or the end of one era. We have in astrology the uh, the Aquarian age or the age of Aquarius, and then we have in Feng Shui, as I have mentioned, uh, hitting cycle number 9, and it's going to be 20 years, and it's going to be the end of a cycle of 180 years. So it does feel like there's a split that's going to happen between now and the next 20 years. And if you don't get on board, you're going to be left behind in the old. So that's why I wanted to bring this to your attention. And speaking for everyone, and even for myself, I'm not here just to preach. I'm speaking for myself too. I need to get on board as well. We all need to get on board, right? I'm not telling you this meaning as if like, oh, I made it. No, just to remind you, okay? Um, thank you for the kind comments, Becca. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, thank you guys. I hope my lives help you in any shape or form. So let's see if there's something related to sleep paralysis. If not, I'll move forward with the explanations. Yeah, Ruth Connor said, I used to get bad sleep paralysis as a kid and night terrors. Yes. And again, this thing, especially kids, they're they have an open third eye. They're very awakened. Up until 7 years old, do you know that all kids can see spirits? Up until 7 years old. And that's why when they tell you some stories, or when the kids tell some stories to their parents, like they saw, you know, we all have said that and we all have heard that. There's there's a monster in the closet. There's a ghost under the bed. And you think that your kid is lying. You think they're making up stories. What if I tell you they're not making up stories? What if I tell you that they're actually saying the truth? Because kids can see the spirit realm overlapped with the physical reality up until 7 years old. And because of that, the negative spirits, they try to attack them. They try to feed off their fears. And that's why kids start saying these ghost stories. I saw this monster, I saw this ghost, or sometimes they even label them as friends. If the entity is actually a good entity, sometimes they say, oh, my friend at nighttime, he told me this and this and this. And the parents are going crazy. They're like, what friend are you talking about? Because you were by yourself in the room. So what friend are you talking about? And it's just a 5 or 6 year old saying that his friend or her friend told them things. It's because they can hear spirits and they can see them. So if you have a kid that's younger than 7 years old and they're telling you these things, they're real. They're not making them up. And maybe some of you remember these experiences when you were young, like the person, like Ruth here, when she said she's used to have sleep paralysis when she was a kid. Maybe what you saw when you were a kid, and if you still remember it, it was real. It was not your imagination. And some people suppress those memories. Myself, for example, I don't remember anything prior up until 7 years old. From 0 to like 6.5, 7, I don't remember a thing from my childhood. I remember just very faded, very faded little memories here and there. One of them is me watching a movie that was it's the only movie I remember from my childhood between 0 and 7 years old. It's the only movie I remember. One is that, and it was a fantasy movie that had space and stuff like that. Another one is me watching cartoon Voltron. If you guys know Voltron, So I think I was, I don't know, 5 years old or four, and I remember watching the cartoon Voltron, and then a couple other memories of me playing with my toys, and that's it. That's the only thing I remember. It's like my life started at 6 and a half years old. That's when my life started. Prior to that, I don't remember anything. It's as if I suppressed those memories. And I remember my parents telling me that when I was young, I used to be scared. I used to be scared of the dark. Even compared to my siblings, I was the only one who was really scared of the dark. I used to be very scared, and I didn't want to be by myself in the room. And I used to be like, I used to have this fear of the dark and the fear of being by myself. So maybe whatever I saw when I was young, I suppressed it because it was too scary, and I didn't want to remember it, and it's not part of my memory anymore. And that's why I don't remember anything. Because I've met many people who say that they remember their childhood very well. They remember when they were 3, when they were 4. Some people even remember when they were 2 years old. So when you're young, if you have memories of spirits and ghosts visiting you, it's probably real. It's not something you made up. So let's see here if there are any other questions or comments. Debbie Brown said hello. I've been drawn recently to Feng Shui uh, and as youth Taoism, so this is on point. Merci beaucoup. Yeah, like everything is in divine alignment. I mean, when the fact that you're here and I'm talking about Feng Shui and you're listening to Feng Shui and you've been attracted to Feng Shui recently, see, that's alignment. For the people who don't understand alignment, that's alignment. You're into something, or you bump into someone, or you stumble upon a knowledge, and then at the same time, someone else is talking about it, or someone else offers it to you in your life. That's alignment. That's when you know you need to go the path, choose that path, or do the research on that subject. So that's how alignment works. And Feng Shui, Taoism has so much knowledge. I highly recommend you to research it. It has so much initiative knowledge that stayed true to the core because it never left the country. It started in China 2,500 years ago, and it is still in China. It wasn't translated into different languages, like what happened with alchemy and other traditions. It didn't move from one country to the other. It stayed in China. So the knowledge is really preserved. It's preserved, and it's honest to its beginnings. So you can learn so much from Taoism and Feng Shui. It's really beautiful. Hello. Uh, uh, my Sherry Anolani said, "Can people reach out to you to be a guest? To be a guest? I don't understand. I can be a guest for someone. Yeah, I mean, there is my email is in my website. It's sifalchemist at gmail.com. So yeah, I'm open. I'm open. Uh, Depending on my time schedule, depending on the um, depending on the energy as well. It depends on many things because uh, I'm just not the kind of person who says yes to everything, because there are other people who say yes to everything, and that's not me, because sometimes it just depends on the energy of, even like, I've been called into things and stuff like that, and it's for me, it's about my guidance, because the guidance that comes from spirit is the most important thing. I don't care about fame. I don't care about money. I don't care about, and I don't need those things. I don't need them. I never needed them, and I don't need them. I don't need fame. I don't need money. I really don't. And so for me, it's about if whatever is going to happen, is it aligned with what I'm supposed to do? That's the only thing that matters to me, because I always remember death. The only thing that's gonna come out of this life is death. You're gonna die at the end. So money, fame, all of that stuff, it's really not important. And I'm sharing this with you guys because you might think, oh, he's veering off subject again. It's because this is an epidemic of the world right now. Everyone wants to be famous, everyone wants to make money, everyone wants to be rich, everyone wants to become a millionaire, everyone wants to become a celebrity. Please, guys, please, that's not gonna lead you anywhere. It's not gonna lead you anywhere. And it's very unfortunate to see even spiritual gurus who are so popular and they're influencing millions of people, and all they talk about is manifesting money, manifesting money, manifesting the life that you desire, and have a lot of money. It's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Okay, hello to the newcomers. Thank you very much for joining. Hello, Lisa. Hello, Infinite Sadness. Oh, Infinite Sadness said, I was scared to the core. They look terrified. Unfortunately, back when I gave up, hopefully I was able to have another chance to open up my third eye. See, paralysis is terrifying. So Infinite Sadness is saying that you're saying you had sleep paralysis and it was terrifying, and you tried to kind of forget it, or it kind of scared you away from having an open third eye. So for sleep paralysis, I'm going to share a little trick with you that I did. In the beginning, when I used to have sleep paralysis, it was very scary. I forgot to mention another thing which is also scary, but I'm going to mention it. I'm not going to describe the things I saw, but I'm going to describe this thing, which is a lot of the time it comes with suffocating, you not being able to breathe. It's like someone is pressing on your chest or pressing on the back if you're sleeping on your stomach. It's someone pressing on you. And so, in addition to being paralyzed, you feel like you can't breathe. You feel like someone is not allowing you to breathe. And that's usually the entity pressing you. It might sound like science fiction, it might sound like I'm just talking nonsense, but the people who have had sleep paralysis, they know this experience. You feel like sometimes you feel like someone is actually strangling you here. You feel like you're being strangled and you can't breathe. All of these are spirits, malicious spirits. So it is very scary when that happens. But let's say you have a sleep paralysis experience. You wake up, you open your eyes, you can't move your body. You see something, you see an entity, either with your eyes open or with your eyes closed. You see some very scary thing. The first thing you have to remember when that happens, and you have to hear me out here for the people who have sleep paralysis or who have had sleep paralysis, the first thing you need to remember is that nothing can happen to you unless you allow it to. That's the first thing you should remember. You are the governor of your soul. You are the owner of your soul, and you are the governor of your soul, and no one can harm your soul unless you allow them to. Meaning that when a spirit comes and tries to scare you, you have to become aware of the fact that no matter how scary they look like, you're not supposed to be scared. Because nothing can harm you. Nothing. And even if they harm you and you feel the suffocation that I mentioned, and for me it happened, you cannot give up. You can't give up and be scared. So you face the entity, you face them, and you tell them, I'm not scared of you. Either with your mind or with your intention, because you can't speak. So you're going to have to say it like it's going to be a psychic message that you transmit to them, and they can hear that, because all spirits can hear what you're saying psychically, just without words. So you're going to have to first declare that you're not scared of them. That's number one. And number two, you ask them to leave. You ask them to leave, but you do it with assertiveness and confidence. You don't do it in a out of fear, because if you do it out of fear, they're going to feel it and they're not going to leave. So you have to really understand that your space is sacred. No one can be in your space, especially if you don't allow them to. So what you're going to declare is, this is my sacred space. You're not supposed to be in it. I order you to leave now or else. And here where powers and magic comes in handy, because if you're not a practitioner, it's going to be a difficult thing to do. But for me, I give always this kind of threat at the end, because what I say is it's the same as banishing spirits. Because when you want to banish a spirit, we're here delving into the realm of magic, witchcraft, and the occult. So just in case for those of you who are like confused, bear with me. And if you're not a practitioner, it's okay, you can just listen. Banishing a bad spirits is the same as banishing a spirit from sleep paralysis. It's the same thing. It's the exact same practice. It's just that when you're awake and you do a banishing spell or ritual, you're doing it while you're awake with you can move your body. In sleep paralysis, you have to do it in your mind. You do the banishing in your mind. Everything happens from your third eye, and your body is not involved. So I always first ask the spirit to leave, the malicious spirit. I ask them to leave. I say that you're not invited. This is not your space. You're not allowed to be here. So leave right now. I'm ordering you to leave, or else. What is this or else means? Or else is that if you persist, if the spirit persists, then we're going to switch gears and we're going to start doing banishing things. And that requires magical energy, such as you cast away that spirit into the depths of the underworld, or you call on into other guardian demons that are going to help you get rid of that spirit. So basically, you call on a demon to get rid of a demon. And demon is just another word for spirit. It's ancient Greek for daimon. Daimon means spirit. So you call one spirit to help you get rid of another spirit. So there are different ways of banishing those spirits. But most of the time, the moment you say, you're not allowed to be here, please leave, they are going to leave. They are. There's not, from my experience, there's not going to be like a super negative, powerful spirit that's going to come bother you in your sleep paralysis. It's usually the lower spirits. Because a badass spirit because they do exist. It's just the truth. There are amazing, powerful spirits that are very, very, very powerful, and there are negative spirits that are also very powerful. They both exist. But usually these powerful ones, they're not going to come to you. They're not going to come bother you in your sleep paralysis. It's usually the lower spirits that want to feed off your fear, that want to bully you, that want to annoy you. They just want to bother you. They don't like that you can see them. So when that happens, the moment you declare that you're not scared of them and that they're not allowed to be in your space, they leave. They literally, you will witness the sleep paralysis breaking away on the spot. So you go from being paralyzed to moving your body. It happens instantaneously the moment that spirit leaves. So, and I'm speaking, this is what happened to me when I declare these things. And again, sleep paralysis doesn't happen to me anymore, but when it used to happen to me and I realized how to deal with it, I basically shared with you what I do. I'm saying it to you, um, and every time the spirits just leave, they don't linger around. But I always give a little threat at the end, and I'm like, if you're not gonna leave, you're gonna regret it, and you don't want to go there. I don't want to banish you, so leave me in peace. Leave me in peace. It's like telling a bully to leave you in peace, or else. If a bully tries to bully you, you're going to try to avoid the confrontation. But if that persists, then you're going to use other methods, because you're not going to let a bully like punch you and like, let's say, beat you all the time. That has to stop. So if that bully doesn't leave you alone at some point, you're going to have to use the same methods that the bully use. If they scare you, then you need to scare them too. And that's what I did for the sleep paralysis spirits. If they keep scaring you and they're persistent and they don't leave, then you need to scare them as well. So you end up scaring the spirit that was trying to scare you, because spirits can be scared as well. They have also feelings and they have emotions, and they can be scared. So that's something you can do. Keep it in mind. Um, if you have sleep paralysis again, if it occurs in your life, then try it out and see. And it works for banishing spirits as well. But I'm gonna have to add that your energy has to be very strong. For this to work, you have to have zero fear. Zero fear. Zero. There's a little bit of fear in there, they're gonna sense it. So but it comes with it. You become better at it with practice. Becca said, "Well, I had this as a kid, and it was so real. I think I've tried to forget it because I haven't thought about it until now, as you mentioned it. Yeah, sometimes we suppress these memories because they're very scary. And again, all the kids are gifted and they can see things. So all probably most of you when you were young, you saw things and you probably forgot them. And Hugh shared here an experience. I had a couple of experiences. One time I rolled out of myself to see this like darked out thing, like snuffling on my shelf above my head. And another time I had awoke to this thing coming under my bed. Like, yeah, like it's see these experiences. Um, if you just think of them, if you acknowledge them as a normal thing, they're not going to be scary. We are scared, or kids are scared, or humans are scared of these spirits because we think of them as something that's metaphysical, paranormal. See, paranormal. That's something that's not normal, but it is normal. If you think of them as normal, as like, oh, I see a cat walking by. There's a cat over there, or like, hey, a bird just landed on my table. That's it. It's a bird, and it just came to visit you. How is that different from a spirit? Sometimes you're gonna encounter in the wilderness some scary animals. Maybe you're hiking and there's a bear. The bear is gonna scare you. It's a scary experience. You're not gonna see a bear and feel happy, right? It's the same thing. Some spirits are gonna come to you, or they're gonna come visit you, and they're scary. So the more we think of these things as normal, the less we're gonna fear them. They're part of existence. These spirits, they do exist just like us. If anything, they were created before humans. They were existing way before humans, way before humans were created. So they feel actually more entitled to this dimension than humans. So it's just a little side note that I wanted to mention. Um, let's see here. What else do we have? Nova Fade said sleep paralysis is normal and it's not a real demon. Yeah. Well, the definition of demon is just because of religious religious indoctrination. The word demon has had a negative connotations amongst the Abrahamic religions. The word demon means daimon. Daimon comes from ancient Greek. The Greeks used to have their own daimons, which means spirit or divine being, that can help you or that can guide you or that can inspire you. But when Abrahamic religions came to earth, they were established by humans, and humans tainted them, they confused them, and uh, they started doing what humans are good at. Humans are the masters of separation. They like to separate things and create this group and that group, and my flag and your flag, and my race and your race, and this is my people, that's your people, my God is better than your God, my culture is better than your culture, my food is better than your food, and forgetting that we're all humans. We all have blood that runs in the veins. It's all the same thing. It's all the same. I'm talking about from a physical standpoint. From a soul standpoint, is different. When it comes to a soul, everyone is different. Everyone is unique. Everyone has something completely different within them. But when you come to the body, body is the same. Okay, some people are more attractive than others. What else? Okay, some people have different skin colors than others. What else? That's it. Inside, everyone has a heart. Everyone has blood that runs inside that heart. So, but humans, they love to, because this is the realm of duality, and humans fall for this concept. They fall for it very easily because of the ego. Because when you start separating things, it makes you feel better. It gives you value. It gives you the illusion that you're better than other people. So they're all, at first, they were all daimons, they were all spirits, they were all entities and deities. Humans come and say, no, they're not the same. Some of them are demons and some of them are angels. They're different. And angels are better. So see how they're boosting their egos. Humans, they try to boost their egos by saying, this is better than that. And if you acknowledge that bad thing, that means you're a bad person. See how separation works, segregation, even racism? Because they overlap. Segregation, racism, separation, I'm better than you, my country is better than you, my language is better than you, my food is better than you, my skin color is better than you, my God is better than you, the way I think is better than the way you think. That's what humans are good at. They're the masters of these things. And they have mastered this for thousands of years. And they did this to spirits and deities as well. And that's why we have this conundrum of demons and angels in the Abrahamic religions. If you go to the East, they don't have this problem. The East, they don't have this problem. Hindus, Buddhists, they know that all deities are deities. And some of them are good, some of them are bad. That's it. That's all there is to it. In fact, in Hinduism, they have devas and asuras. But they respect both of them. They don't say devas are good and asuras are bad. They say that it's just hierarchy of beings. There's the asuras and there's the devas. When the English translated that, you know what they did? They're like, if the devas are low, if the devas are higher, it means the asuras are demons and the devas are angels. That's how the Westerners translated Hindu scriptures, by tainting the image or the reputation of the asuras. But many asuras are actually guardians. They're revered spirits in the East. But in the West, those asuras, they were translated into, oh, these are demons. That means they're the bad ones. See, you have to be careful of these nuances because they lure you into believing the wrong thing your whole life. Sometimes it takes you many lifetimes before you realize the truth. So this demon thing that scares a lot of people, why does it scare you? Because the religion asks you to be scared of it. So that's it. If someone tells you that you need to be scared of a demon, you're going to be scared of it. But here's the most important thing. Have you seen a demon to begin with? Have you seen a spirit? Have you encountered one? or you just want to regurgitate what you've read in books. First of all, see, have that experience. If you don't have the gift of seeing, you shouldn't even be scared of these labels. Angels, demons, these are good, these are the good ones, these are the bad ones. You have people who have written books about this, and they themselves have never seen even a spirit in their whole life. They have never seen even a ghost, and yet they start telling you about demons. No, I'm sorry, you know nothing about demons, you know nothing about angels, you know nothing about spirits, you have never seen one. So stop regurgitating what you just read somewhere. But in the East, they understand this way better. In Bali, one of the highest deities that is worshipped is the translation of a demon. Barong. Barong is a demon. He's a deity. Okay? And he's the highest deity that is worshipped in the Balinese culture. You know, you have new age spiritual people go into Bali and they're like, oh, yoga, meditation, I'm full of light, I'm enlightened. And yet, every temple in Bali is worshiping a demon. You see the twist that I'm trying to talk about? People are confused. People are confused. They replace one dogma with the other. Oh, I'm not Christian anymore. I'm going to become new age, fluffy spiritual. Why? Because, well, spirituality talks about meditation. Meditation comes from Hinduism, the, the dogma that worships deities, including demons. People are confused. They just follow the herd, they follow the trends without understanding what the hell they are actually doing. Most people go to Bali for meditation and yoga, yet every temple has at the entrance a demon, barong, and people are oblivious to that. The people that come from the West to Bali, they're completely oblivious to that. They're like, no, I just came here for yoga. But what is spirituality? If you ask any person who follows the new age and you ask them what is spirituality, they're not going to have an answer because they don't know what they're doing. They're confused. And the goal here is to become clear, not to become confused. See, the more something makes you confused, the more it is a proof that it's wrong. That's why many people give up religion. Because if religion confuses you, what's the point of being confused? Now is that's happening with New Age spirituality. New Age spirituality is just confusing people more and more because it's a bunch of things that come from all over the place, and it becomes like a it becomes what do you call that? Like it becomes like a smoothie when you mix 10,000 things at the same time, and it's a smoothie that has 10 fruits, and when you drink it, you don't know what the hell you're drinking. You don't know if it's banana, if it's strawberry. You don't know if there's dates in there. You don't know if there's like berries in there. You have no idea what you're drinking. No, simplify, undo, simplify. Buddhism is all about simplicity. It's all about breaking down things until they become their true core. That's the same for alchemy. The true core of alchemy is dissolving, is the dissolution stage. And this is also part of shedding the layers that I always talk about. Shed the layers. Because the layers that you put on top, they're just confusing people. They're confusing you. The more you simplify, reduce everything to its original core. What's the original core? It's your soul. What's your soul here doing? What's the purpose of your soul? That's all that matters. What is your soul doing on this earth? What is it doing here? That's what matters. So please don't let these labels and religions and dogmas and trends confuse you. I've been there. I've gone through that stage, and it it did to me more harm than it helped. So let's move on to other comments, other questions. Ah, it's actually very. This is the first time someone asked me this question. Okay, and I'm gonna actually answer it. It's Arash asked. Okay, hi there. I'm new here. I was just wondering whether your eyeliner was for protection purpose or it was for decoration. Very, very, very smart question. That's a very because I get a lot. I get a lot of hate comments for my eyeliner. A lot of hate comments, like a lot. It triggers people. Can you imagine an eyeliner triggering people? Can you imagine what people are going through, like to be triggered by an eyeliner? Because first of all, we have the jewelry. I wear like a ton, I wear a ton of jewelry every time. I'm aware of it. I'm aware of everything I do, and I'm aware of how other people view it as well. Don't get me wrong. I'm not oblivious to the things that I do. I'm aware of how I dress. I'm aware of the jewelry. I'm aware that it's very weird and awkward to a lot of people. I'm aware of all of that because I come from a normal background. I come from a normal family. I know what normal is. I'm very aware of what being normal is like. So I know that everything you see here is the opposite of normal. I'm aware of it. I know it, including the eyeliner. I'm aware of it. But it's the first time someone asked if the eyeliner is for protection. The first time that someone asked a smart question. Everything that is not my body that's added onto me, being jewelry, being headpiece, being eyeliner, earrings, tattoos, everything has a purpose for either protection or another intention. Everything. Everything. Nothing I wear or I put on myself, including my tattoos, is for decor. Nothing. Because I'm not in the business of fashion. I'm not here to show up that I'm fashionable, that I'm a fashionable alchemist, or I'm a not fashion, like I'm a decorative alchemist, or I don't know even what's the word for it. I'm here to experiment with decor and fashion. No, I'm not a fashion designer, and I'm not a makeup artist, and I'm not a jewelry vendor. I'm none of these. But everything I wear, because I know I'm exposed to a lot of people, and I know that there's a lot of evil eye, there's a lot of hexes, there's a lot of curses. I know that there's a lot, especially in this field. See, like if I showed up as a regular person and I was reviewing some, let's say, what, like technology products. Let's say I wear a regular T-shirt, show up, show up like without a headpiece, without jewelry, without eyeliner, without anything. I just look like a normal person, okay? Like wearing normal clothes, pair of jeans, a white T-shirt, and I start reviewing a cell phone, a technology piece, right? Let's say that's the case. So the people who do that, they still get some hate, but most of the time, people can relate. They're relatable. So there's not a lot of negative energy sent towards that person because the viewer is like, oh, I can relate to that person. He's just like a regular dude, just like me. So I'm not gonna hate on him. If anything, I think I'm better than him. I think I'm more successful than him, or whatever people tend to think. But when you do the occult, when you read tarot, it's a different story. When you start talking about magic, when you're triggering a lot of people, especially religious people, when you're triggering a lot of people just because you say that you can see spirits, when you're triggering a lot of people just because you say that, oh, I can do magic. Just by saying it, you're triggering a lot of people because people, they don't want to be taken out of their comfort zones. People who believe in science and who believe in the material world 100%, they don't want to hear someone telling them there's more to this. They don't want to hear that. So when there's someone like me, like a crazy person like me, who starts saying those things, I will get the most evil eye out of everyone. I will get the most hexes and curses out of everyone. And if you notice, a lot of occultists or tarot readers or practitioners, they only show their hands. It's for that reason. I'm here showing my face, full on, like open. That's it. So it's very easy to cast a spell on me because you can see my face, you can hear my voice. It's much easier than someone else who's just not showing themselves. And that's actually good for the people who just show their hands. It's good because that's one way to protect yourself from the evil eye, from the curse. I see a lot of tarot readers showing just their hands, doing tarot reading on YouTube. That's actually good because you don't want to expose who you truly are fully to the world. But my calling was different. I've done some hands videos where I do tarot readings with my hands and they didn't work. They were not good at all. And more so, I couldn't channel the message. See, when the camera was towards my hands, and I'm talking about many times, I've tried this before, many, many times. I did a setup where the camera was pointing towards my hands, and I wanted to do a format where you see the tarot reading on the table, like most YouTube tarot channels on YouTube. I kid you not, I could not channel the message. I pulled the cards, I couldn't speak. The message wouldn't come out. I could not speak. I couldn't. Nothing was coming out. I was struggling. I was actually so shocked that I couldn't channel when the camera was pointing towards my hands. So my calling was to show my face. And this eyeliner, to answer your question, is for protection. Because the more layers you put on you, the more the focus goes on that. You know how much hate comments I get just for the jewelry? That's you like dodging a lot of evil eye because the jewelry takes that. And they're hilarious. The hate comments I get for my jewelry are hilarious. They make me laugh so hard. But they're hate comments. They're full of hate, but they're funny. I find them very funny. But it's negative energy coming towards me that was taken by the jewelry instead of coming to my soul. So smart question. I'm glad you asked that, and I hope that answered your question. But yes, the amount of people get triggered by eyeliner is insane. And it's just eyeliner. I'm not doing any makeup. I don't do makeup. For the people who wear makeup, you probably know that I'm not wearing makeup. Makeup artists will know that I'm not having anything on me. You can even see the wrinkles around my eyes, right? So it's just the eyeliner. But the amount of funny, hateful comments I get, like I find it hilarious that someone gets triggered by that. Okay, let's move on. Liana says technically they're hallucinations. So this Liana, she's saying that basically she probably means because she just wrote technically they're hallucinations. Maybe Liana should have elaborated more if you're listening to this. They're hallucinations to the people who are not gifted, the people who can't see spirits, the people who can't see anything at all. They're hallucinations, of course, because most people can hallucinate. Just take anyone and give them drugs, give them mushrooms, or ayahuasca or whatever, and they can start hallucinating right away. But the real gifted people, who are very few of them that exists out there, they can see these things without any intoxication, without ingesting anything, without ingesting mushrooms or weed or alcohol or ayahuasca or anything, and they can see these spirits crystal clear. But for the normal people, Usually, like this comment here, like from Liana, the normal people who don't believe in these things, like doctors, like the medical field, they will say it's hallucinations because these people, they cannot see these things. And that's why this field is difficult, because how can you prove what you see to other people who can't see it? There is no way to prove it. And that's why I said this many times in this channel. I'm not here in the business of proving myself. I couldn't care less if you don't believe me. I couldn't care less if you think I'm a lunatic. I couldn't care less if you think I'm a crazy person. I couldn't care less. But I'm just sharing my experience because I know there's some people out there, some 1, 2%, just very few people out there who are going crazy because they can see what I see, and maybe my message is going to help them on their journey. That's the only reason why I'm sharing this. I'm not sharing this for normal people. Normal people will always be normal people. They will keep living normally. They will keep believing in science as the ultimate truth. So this message is for the very few who are going through this. And those are the people I intend to help. And let's see what else do we have here. Other questions? Hello. Hello to all the people who just joined the chat. Let's see here. Thank you for the kind comments. Lexington, I appreciate your nice comment. Um, Deborah says, when you experience sleep paralysis, can you speak to spirit? Yes. It's as I mentioned earlier, you declare to them, especially if you want to get rid of them, if you want them to leave, that's what you do. But you don't, you asked if you can speak to them. You're paralyzed. You can't use your lips. You can't open your mouth. You're literally paralyzed. But you can intend what you want to speak. You can intend it with your mind. For example, leave, leave me alone. You're not supposed to be here. You're not allowed here, especially the sentence, you're not allowed here. But you can intend that phrase with your mind to them, to the spirit that you're witnessing, so that spirit can leave you alone. So yes, you can intend instead of speak. Hello to the newcomers. Hello. Yes, Magi said, you get used to weird stuff, then it's less scary. Yes, we can say that in this case scenario, sleep paralysis is a weird thing, and yes, when you get used to it, which is exactly what happened to me, it becomes less scary. The more you get used to it, the more it becomes less scary. The more you see different spirits that are scary, you see them in different shapes and forms, and every time it's a different one, and it does become less scary with time. So we always fear what we don't understand. The more we're accustomed to that thing or to that spirit, the less scary it becomes. It totally makes sense. Midnight Sunset, my first and only sleep paralysis experience was seeing a shadow, but I fought back and tried killing it after I regained control through self-inflicted injury. Yeah, like I would highly recommend you not to try to like get into that mode with the spirits. First, just try to just talk at first to them with your mind. Just declare that they're not welcomed, that they're not allowed there before you can try to get rid of them or banish them or kill them, because it's like starting an episode that might lead to more dangerous things. So just at first, just intend and be very assertive and confident with your energy that they're not welcome there and that they need to leave you alone. Start with that. But if you had only one sleep paralysis experience and you never had it again, then it's good, because it might happen to some people just one time and that's it. Then it's okay. But if it's a reoccurring thing, that's when it becomes a problem. Okay. Hello everyone. To new people who just came. Hello, Tabo, Nova Fade, Chose. Hello, Mika. Yeah, this is another dangerous thing. So Infinite Sadness wrote, "Seth, I wish to know, I wish I knew back in 2012. I think this is when you had the sleep paralysis experience. Unfortunately, some New Age communities told me that I'm haunted, etc., etc. Knowledge is the key to overcome the fear. Absolutely. But that's the problem. That's the problem with many practices, be it religion or non-religion. You'll go to some, so you go to the doctor and they're going to tell you that you're hallucinating. You go to some practitioners from the New Age or even occult practitioners or witches, and they're going to tell you you're haunted, and you're not haunted. And it's what you wrote is actually beautiful. Knowledge is the key to overcome the fear, and that's what worked for me. It's not going to people or going to doctors, it's knowledge. When I had these experiences, I was just researching the hell out of sleep paralysis and what to do to overcome it, and what are the practices and what the doctors say about it, medically speaking. What is it in I did so much research, and I overcome it, and now it doesn't even happen to me. And it's kind of like, um, a lot of people would like to just tell you things sometimes just for the sake of saying them. For example, this haunted thing, and it's a good. I'm gonna use this as a gateway to the haunted thing, because it's important to bring up. Being haunted is not an easy thing. People cannot just be haunted like that. You have people go see the Exorcist movie or similar things, and they start thinking that's it. They start thinking that everyone can be haunted. And don't get me started with religions. You go to religious people and they believe that's it. If you don't follow the word of God, if you don't read the book of God, then you'll be haunted. Hauntings cannot happen easily. There are conditions for hauntings to take place before they can be possible. You can't just say, well, I had a sleep paralysis. It means I'm haunted. I saw a shadow figure in my room. That means I'm haunted. Oh, like I feel like I'm out of luck, and like I feel like everything I do is not working. Oh, that means I'm haunted. No, that's not how it works. A spirit can inhabit your place. It can haunt your place, but it cannot haunt you. The case scenarios when a spirit can control a human being, one, it's rare. Two, that human has to have gone through the most crazy traumatic experiences you can imagine. The most depression. They probably grew up in an abusive family and they had so much problems. And a spirit will only haunt, or will only be able to haunt a soul, if only if that soul gives up on itself. Let me repeat that. A spirit, a bad spirit, can only haunt a soul only if that soul gives up on itself. That means you're at such a low place that you don't even care what happens to you. You don't even care what's done to you. So you're so depressed, you're so miserable. The people that are in such conditions, they are extremely low in vibration. And sadly, this happens to a lot of people who are homeless because they lost hope in life. They lost hope in society. They lost hope in love. They lost hope in everything. And that's why a lot of people end up taking their own lives as well. So these are the low frequencies we're talking about. It's all the same. You get to such a low point that you're thinking about taking your own life, or you just don't care what happens to your body or to yourself. You literally don't care. You give up. That's when that's when a malicious entity can come and take over. They can do that. But if you're like just living a normal life, if you're just aware and conscious of the fact that you are in control of your body, you don't even need to believe in spirituality. You don't need to believe in the things I'm talking about. You don't need to believe in sleep paralysis. Maybe you think I'm just saying a bunch of BS. Just you can be a normal person and you don't have to believe in anything. A spirit will not haunt you and will not be able to haunt you because you're aware of who you are. You're aware of yourself, of your soul, of your life. So for a soul to really be able to control, what I meant is for a spirit, for a malicious spirit to be able to control a soul, that soul has to be almost, that's it. And these cases are rare, but they do exist. They do exist. And the people who are haunted, they will act in weird ways, in very weird ways that seem unhumane. And I don't mean to scare you, okay? They will act weird and they will say weird things that they usually don't say, and their voices will change, just like sometimes what they show in the movies. And their eyes are going to start moving in very weird ways that usually that's not how humans move their eyes, and their bodies will move in weird ways. And those cases, they do exist. But as long as you're aware of who you are, you have your life together, you're not depressed, you you have some hope in life, you're doing your thing, and nothing is going to haunt you. Nothing is going to be able to haunt you because your soul is occupying your body. Your soul is fully occupying your body. There's no other space for something else to come in. The room is only enough for one person. That's it. But for a soul to haunt your home, yes, that's possible. That's, in often case scenarios, that's more common than a person being haunted. Now, a spirit can influence your thoughts, and that's not haunting either. A spirit, a bad spirit, can influence your thoughts, but it doesn't mean you're haunted. A spirit can bring bad thoughts to you. It can bring malicious intentions to you. It can, for example, bring like you intending harm to someone else, or it can bring negative thoughts and ideas to your mind. But it doesn't mean you're haunted. You being haunted, or a person being haunted, is like that's it. You're taken over completely. That's why the voices change. That's why the voices change, because you're taken over by something else completely, fully, and completely. So spirits, can they affect your thoughts? Yes, they can. And usually you'll know that because you'll know that's not usually you. You don't usually intend such a thing. So how come it's in your mind? How come something so bad is in your mind? So spirits, some bad spirits can influence your thoughts, but they can also haunt your home. They can. And that's when you start having problems in your homes. for example, one after another, with pipes, with water, with electricity, with, and you feel it. You know, and again, this is only for the gifted people who feel these things. Normal people, they're not going to feel anything. And if anything, normal people will not attract spirits. That's the other thing I wanted to tell you guys. See, these paranormal experiences that people get, it's usually the people who can feel the spirits that get the paranormal experiences. The normal people, they don't attract spirits. Spirits, they don't care about them because they aren't gifted. They can't sense or see anything. So it's like a boring thing for spirits. Why should I go to a person that can't even sense me? Why should I go to them? So for those of you who feel the paranormal, it's because, or spirits, they come to you because they know you can sense them at least, even if you can't see them, but you can sense them at least. That's why they're gonna come to you, and you can't condemn that, or you can't say, "Oh, it's a bad thing. Why do I have this?" So, because some people say that it's your, if you're born with the gift, you're born with it. It's yours. So handle it properly. You were born with it, and that's it. It's your thing. It's your thing. If you can sense spirits or see them, it's your thing. And that's why it's called a gift, even though some people don't consider it as a gift. And for the normal people who don't have the gift of seeing that, they're not going to experience anything paranormal in their whole lives. And that's why they call people like us crazy. The normal people call people like us crazy because they never felt spirits in their lives. So they think we're making up stuff. You see how it works? So if a normal person calls you names, just ignore them. They've never felt any other presence or spirit in their life, so it's okay. You can't have two realities overlap or match if they're not meant to match. A normal person is just living their normal life. That's their path, and that's it. It stops there. And the normal people who are into this stuff and they're even watching this live right now or these kind of videos, you're not normal. You just think you are, because the fact is that you're watching this. I know real normal people, and they wouldn't. I know them. They're in my family. They were my friends. They will never, in a million years, watch this kind of content. In a million years, even if you give them $1,000 and say, "Hey, here's $1,000. Watch this video," they will not watch it because they so don't believe in this stuff. I know these people. So if you're watching this, even if you think you're normal, even if you think you're just having fun, but you're here and watching this or similar videos on YouTube, it means that somehow or somewhat you are gifted, you just don't know it. Because there's nothing random in the universe. There's nothing random. It's just a side note. Because there's a lot of people who come here and they think, oh, this guy is BS and he's saying a bunch of nonsense. But one day, that same person who said that, they will sense something, and maybe 1 year later, 2 years later, 6 months later, and they will sense something. They will see something, and it's the reason why. It's the reason why they're watching this. So I actually, sorry, I just gotta add this. There was this coworker I used to have when I was a normal person. I wasn't really normal, but I was having a normal life when I was a 9 to 5er. And sometimes we would talk about these, because I was openly into spirituality, but it wasn't my career. But my colleagues, my close colleagues, they knew I was into spirituality, just in like in a nutshell, you know. It wasn't in detail. But this was towards the end of my 9 to 5er life when I was completely gonna switch and become self-alchemist and do this for a living. And I used to talk to some colleagues about this, and there was this one colleague. Out of all the colleagues, there's one. She was frightened of hearing anything about spirits or anything like that. And she knew I was into spirituality and I had some knowledge about these concepts. And I asked her once, I told her, so do you believe in these spirits and stuff? Because I see that every time you get really scared. And this is different from the person I mentioned in the beginning who had sleep paralysis. That was a guy. This is a girl. So it's two different people. And I told her, do you believe in this stuff? Because I see every time that you don't want to hear it or something like that. And she said no, I don't believe in this. And I told her, but why do you get scared? I have the impression that you get scared of it. She's like, every time I hear it, I feel something. I feel weird. I feel like, but I asked her, but you don't believe in this stuff, but yet you feel weirded out by it. She said yes. I told her it's probably out of all of us, that group, you're probably the you're probably the one person who can see spirits. She freaked out even more. She was like, "What? No, I don't believe in these things." And I told her, "Well, it's usually the people who don't believe in that stuff who end up seeing it. Usually. Um, and this happened to a lot of normal people who their life changed upside down overnight, and I'm one of them. I'm one of them. When I started seeing spirits, for me, it just happened. And I share this in my other videos. I'm not gonna spend another hour about talking about it here. You can watch those other videos, or I'm gonna do another live about it. But I used to be a normal person who just lived a normal life. Absolute, just completely normal life. And overnight, this thing opened up, and I started seeing things that were there, that were not there, but they were there, out of the blue, like literally out of the blue. So yeah, I'm one of those people. So let's see what else do we have here. But great question, Infinite Sadness. You It doesn't mean you're haunted. What else do we have here? What else? Thank you guys for all the people who are watching, who are joining. I hope you're learning from this. I hope you're I hope this is just giving you at least food for thought. You don't have to believe in it. You don't have to. You can completely disagree and disbelieve whatever I'm talking about. I'm not here for people to agree with me. I say it all the time. I'm here to share my own experience, and you do your own research. You have free will. You believe what you need to believe on your path. Ani said, during my sleep paralysis, I heard voices too. Yes, you can definitely hear voices as well. You can hear actually people who are clairaudience. You can hear voices even in your dreams. This happens to me a lot, and I hear voices in my dreams a lot that wake me up sometimes. Like, it's just you're dreaming and you hear, sometimes it's voices speaking to you in a language that you don't understand. Sometimes it's screams. Sometimes it's animal voices. And then that voice wakes you up. But I'm talking about dreams. But during sleep paralysis, you can hear the voice, especially if the entity wants to uh, make you hear it. You will hear the voice of the entity. So that's possible. Hello, Antonia. Good morning. Janika Martin. Hi. Hello. What else? What else do we have here? Let's see another. Um, Here again. Uh, let's see another question from some of you. Hello to all the people who just joined. Thank you very much. Sorry, this live chat section is just loading. It kind of froze and now it's loading again. Huh. I lost where I was in the chat. I was somewhere and I completely lost it. I don't know where those things went. Anyway, I'm just trying to pick other questions. So Nathan asked, what is this something else or bad spirits, etc.? Uh, how, in what form they exist? Bad spirits, spirits, good or bad, they just exist in another dimension that's overlapping with this 3D dimension. We can't see them, they can't see us. For the people who have gifts and abilities, the gifts of seeing, they have the third eye open, they can see these spirits. There are many, 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 many types of spirits. There are spirits that can show up in human form. These are the ones who didn't pass, they died and they linger around, and they appear for the people who can see them, they appear as humans. There are spirits who appear as creatures, and like they look like animals, but they're creatures that don't even exist on Earth. They look like creatures that you can't label. There are spirits that are very scary looking, and they're kind of humanoid. That means they are bipedal. They look like humans in form, as in like they have two arms and legs, but their heads and faces look completely different from a human being, and they're terrifying and they're scary. Some of them have horns. Some of them have like the fangs or the teeth and kind of like eyes that are very different. Some of them, some of them have these um, like features that are similar to animalistic animal features. They kind of look like animals, but they're also humans. It's like the ancient deities of ancient Egypt. They have the heads of animals for some reason, like Sekhmet and Anubis and Ra. And you're like, why does this guy have the head of a falcon or of a bird, or why is this guy have why does this goddess have the head of a feline, of a lion, or similar animals? So some spirits appear like that, and there are other spirits that don't have any form or shape. They just look like it's just energy. That's also a spirit, but they are conscious. There are spirits that appear as animals, as like, let's say, a dog, and it appear as a spirit. So it's the shape of a dog, and it's usually the this dog is no dog you see in human form. They're huge. They're like a dog at the size of what's like a big animal. They would be the size. I'm trying to find the right size. Maybe the dog of the size of a lion or the size of a tiger, but it's a dog. That's also there are some spirits that exist who look like that. So the spirit realm is a dimension that is richer than the human 3D realm. It's much richer. Way more beings exist there. They have their own rules, they have their own restrictions, they have their own agendas, what they can do, what they cannot do, what they're supposed to do. Some of them have free will, some of them don't have free will. And just like humans, some are malicious and some are good and some are neutral, meaning that the neutral ones, they don't care. They don't care if humans exist or not. They don't care about helping humans or other beings. They just exist. And they're doing what they're supposed to do. And then you have the good spirits and the bad spirits. The good, benevolent spirits, they can help. They can help humans, they can help animals, they can help the earth, they can help other beings as well that we don't know. But they're here to provide help. And you've heard this in many stories and legends and religions and dogmas around the world from all across the corners of the globe. There, there's talks of spirits who have come to earth to help humans. Well, they call them gods and deities because these spirits, they have hierarchies and they can manifest as a human form. So when you see them, you will think that they have a human body. But that's the other thing, that's another ability they have. Not all of them, not all of them. Some of them have this ability. It's usually the higher ones. The higher ones, they have the ability to shapeshift. Some people call it shapeshifters, or appearing at will in any form they desire. They can appear as a human, they can appear as an animal, they can appear as a god or a goddess in a different form. We have this with the ancient Hindu deities. Look, for example, how Shiva is portrayed, right? He's portrayed as very tall, his skin is blue, but he looks like a human being because he has the ability to show as however he wants to show up. Like the same for many other traditions of deities showing up in different shapes and forms. But these deities, they have access to the spirit realm. So when they are in the spirit realm, they don't have really their bodies are not there anymore. The body only exists in the physical reality. When you go to higher realms, bodies are energetic. You can still see the silhouette of the spirit. You can see even the colors and the form, but it's not dense. As in, it's passed through, if that makes sense. The body doesn't have density. Once you come to the physical reality, the body becomes dense and too dense, too thick, and that's why you can touch it, and you have the illusion that you can feel and touch it, even though it actually doesn't exist. But that becomes quantum physics. But we're not going to talk about that. So these deities and spirits, they exist in different shapes and forms. So the benevolent spirits, they want to help humans or other beings or animals, and they're watching over and they have missions that they need to accomplish. And then you have the bad spirits, and the bad spirits, they want to destroy, they want to cause you harm, and they want to stray you away from your alignment, from your divination, from walking the right path. They want to confuse you. I talked earlier about confusion with the religions and New Age, and they want to make you as confused as possible. They want to make you fearful and feed off your fear. And that's why we have the notion of demons being scary, is because there are spirits who will actually encourage this agenda so people are scared on purpose. So you are scared of something called a demon, even though you're not supposed to be, because a demon is just a spirit. So, just like humans, there are the good ones, there are the bad ones. There are humans who want to wage wars and kill as many people as possible. And there are the humans who want peace and they don't want anyone to die. There are the humans who, right now, as we speak, want to start a third world war as we speak. And they're ruling the world. And there are other humans, there's less of them, unfortunately, who want peace and harmony amongst humanity. So, in the spirit realm, it's the same. But these dimensions of existence, they overlap. They overlap. They overlap in a sense that the spirits in hierarchy, they are higher than humans. They are more gifted. They have powers that humans don't have. So in hierarchy, the spirits can visit this realm easily. They can if they want to. But humans, they can't do vice versa. It's impossible for them. So, what do we have? Some humans, very few of them, who are gifted. Gifted with what? With feeling, seeing, sensing these spirits and this other dimension. But these humans are very, very few. And these humans who have this gift, it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. It's a blessing because you know what's out there. You know that there is more to life than the physical reality. You know that there's other beings out there. You start to perceive the whole. That's a blessing. It's a curse because you can't fit in anymore. Because it's hard for you to relate to human anymore. Because most people around you, they will think you're crazy. So it's a blessing and it's a curse for the few people who can see these spirits, who are gifted with this gift. But if you have that gift, if you're one of these few people and you have that gift, it's yours. It's yours. Don't condemn it because it's hard. It's not something to brag about. Oh, I can see spirits. No, don't brag about that. You can, if you can see spirits, you're gonna see the scary ones, and the scary ones are terrifying, and you have to deal with that all the time. If you can sense spirits, you're gonna sense the spirits that come to your home even in the middle of the night or in the evening when you're by yourself, and they're gonna touch you or try to come in touch with you, or they're gonna pass through you or wake you up in your dream or give you nightmares, and you have to deal with that. So it's not something to brag about. Most of the time, it's more of a hassle than it is a gift. You know. most of the time. So myself or someone else, when we say we can see spirits and this and that, it's not bragging. It's actually the opposite of bragging. What is there to brag about? It's just seeing things that are not there. I didn't want this life. It was imposed on me. It came out of nowhere to me. I never wished for it. I never intended it. I never wanted it. I never imagined or wanted to be Seth Alchemist or have this YouTube channel. But it just dropped. Something. It just. That's it. Someone just came and said, "You can see spirits now. Deal with it, because that's what you're supposed to do." If I was meant to be like something else, I would be doing that right now. So that's the nature of these dimensions, and they do overlap, and the people who can see them, they can see them. And I hope that answer helps. Hello to all the newcomers. Thank you very much for joining. Hello, hello. Bruce, thank you very much for the kind words. Okay, here, let's see this question. Okay, this is interesting. Biera Vajda asked, "Can I ask you something?" Of course, you can ask, as long as you write it down in the chat section. One night I was lying down in bed, and I heard a dog growling near my bed. I was scared because I don't have a dog. I looked at it and nothing, and it felt like a ball of black smoke. Okay. Okay, Beata Vajda, congratulations. You have witnessed a real spirit. Because the way you described it, that black dog that looks like the smoke, that's a type of, like, I'm so glad you wrote this down. Um, it's proof that that I'm not the only crazy person. There are two crazy people from different parts of the world saying the same thing. How can that be a lie or a hoax? I actually just described the dog earlier. I described to you guys the dog that looked as big as a tiger or whatever. This is what Beata, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, Vajda, is actually, that's what you're describing in your comments. It's incredible. And I know I myself haven't seen this dog spirit, but I know a very good friend of mine who can see this spirit, who can see this dog spirit. And I'm gonna even tell you who that is. That's Inawich. Inawich saw this exact dog spirit, and she described it to me, and I described it to you guys, and I heard it from another source of information. And now I read it in this comment. And there are many different accounts of this spirit black dog that's like a smoke, and that's so scary. And I remember when Inawich described it to me, and we were in Bali actually, because Bali is infested with spirits. Oof. But if you want to send, if you're okay, leave meditation, new age, yoga on the side, please. If you're a practitioner, magic, if you're a witch, if you sense spirits, see spirits, you want to experience that in an enhanced way, go to Bali. I'm not asking you to go to Bali for yoga and meditation and eating vegan food. That's not what I'm telling you. That's for a bunch of people who follow trends and they're lost, and that's what they do there. Go to the temples of Bali, go to the nature of Bali, go to Ubud and walk back and forth, visit the temples of Ubud, and after 6 p.m., if you have the gift of seeing, you're gonna see crazy stuff, crazy stuff, crazy in Bali. And this dog that Beata talked about is one of the spirits that comes, and it is a scary spirit, but it's you heard it growling, next time when if this dog comes to you again, just ask it to leave. As I said earlier, ask it to leave. That it's not welcome, and this is not the space for it to be there, and ask it to leave. But Beata, if this dog comes near you, it's and you can see it, it's because it's attracted to you, because you have the gift of seeing. You can see these things. So that's why this experience happened to you. It's not because your energy is bad, or what some other people are gonna tell you you're haunted, or oh you have a low frequency energy, like maybe some new age people, they're gonna say that even though they've never seen a spirit in their life. You can see this because you are gifted. So acknowledge your gifts, be proud of it, and don't be scared of it. That's what I have for you. But amazing, wow, amazing. How do you get rid of them if someone else has invited them in the home? Well, first of all, this is from Irene. Irene, make sure who you let in your home from. I'm talking about homes. Sorry, I'm talking homes, humans. I'm talking about humans. Don't let. This is for all of you guys, especially the practitioners. Dear practitioners, for normal people, it's okay. Maybe you don't care. For practitioners, please, dear practitioners, be careful who you invite in your home. I'm talking about people. Spirits, I'm coming to that. Be careful. Don't let anyone into your home. You want to meet with a friend or with someone? Go to a coffee shop. That's what coffee shops are for. Go to a cafe, meet there, have your drink there, and come back home. Only let in your home, in your private space, the people you trust the most, the people who love you unconditionally and who will never intend you harm. For example, your parents, if you have beautiful, loving parents. Any other person who you don't know very well, or you have some kind of weird feeling towards them, never let them in your home. Never. Because that's what they might do to you, like what Irene asked. Because they might invite something back to your home, and they might bring it with them to your home, and it's going to stay there. And you're going to be stuck with a spirit, and good luck getting rid of that spirit. Good luck. If you can do it, you have to hire a practitioner, you have to do spells, you have to do rituals, you have to do banishing rituals, and it takes a long time, and it's a whole process because someone brought that spirit in there. So be careful who you let in your home. That's number one. Number two, never invite a spirit in your home unless you're sure what that spirit is. Never. So never say I allow you to be here, or I allow you to exist unless you know what you're doing. For an invocation ritual, for example, if you're not a practitioner, don't dabble with that. Unless you know that you're inviting a beautiful, loving, helpful spirit that's going to help you. Because once it's in your home, you invited it. You gave it permission with your spell, with your words. Words are spells. So the word, we sign contracts as humans. That's not necessary. Words are more powerful than contracts, because the moment you spell it out, it comes to existence. That means it's there because you said it. And that's why sometimes words can break relationships. Words can cause divorce. Words can break families apart. Just words. Because once you say them, they're there. They're spells. So be careful of what you say to the people that you love. Be careful of your words. If you're angry, don't speak. Calm down and then speak. Give your time. Give yourself time to come back to your senses before you spell someone with your nasty, harmful words. That's what you do. You cast spells onto them if you harm them with words, and spells become reality. So never invite a spirit if you don't know what you're doing, and be careful of the people who you invite in your home. And if that spirit is in your home, the only way to get rid of it is to ask it to leave. And if it doesn't leave, then you have to do rituals, and you have to do spells or rituals, and hire even a practitioner if it's a super persistent entity. But hopefully that helps. Uh, Here, when timelines wrote, "Yep, and I've done so much research on how many experiences I've had over literally decades. It's not a gift to me; it's a curse, and I do nothing with it because that's a specific reason." Yes, like you know, like when you have these abilities and these abilities, they're not like in the movies. They're not like, oh, like a wizard is gonna come out and start doing magic and manifest. Like people think magic is what they see in the movies. No, magic is like this. It's like you seeing spirits, so you seeing entities, you feeling them in your space, in your home. um, like usually when they're very scary and when they become too annoying, you start to think of it as a curse, because as I mentioned earlier, because it's hard to handle these things. You have to learn how to live with them. They become part of your life. You wake up, they're there, you sleep, they're there, you eat, they're there. Sometimes you're amongst a group of people and they're there, and sometimes you regret, even opening up to people. It is in many ways it's kind of a curse. Like this experience happened to me a few times, and I regretted it, and I'm going to share it with you, where I was with a group of people, and I trusted that, and they were really close to me. This happened a while ago, and back then I was already a practitioner. I was Sif Alchemist, and I trusted that, because they were curious about my life, because everyone amongst that group knew that I was not a 9 to 5er anymore, and they were dying to know, what do I do? What am I doing with my life? I said that I travel around and I do certain things, and that's it. But they really wanted to know, and I thought I could trust them, and I ended up trusting them. And I'm like, okay, so this is what happened with me, and I had this crazy life change, and this alchemical transmutation kicked in, and this is who I am right now. And I do tarot readings, and I do consultations, and on YouTube and social media I share these things, and it fired back at me. I shared with them my gifts, what I do, what I see, and they even started asking me questions. They're like, "Oh, so do you think this place, is there a spirit here or something?" Because that's what, because people start taking this as a mockery, right? They start to test you. They start to tell you, "Oh, so is there a spirit here? Is there a spirit amongst us? Is there?" And then it just happened that in one of the rooms there was something, and I told them, well, in that room there is something. And the person I told that to, he's basically the owner of the house. He didn't like it, and he was making fun of me the whole time. He didn't like it that I said that, so it fired back at me. But it was something I needed to learn with experience. I was being honest. I was opening up myself to these people that I trusted, and it fired back at me 100%. It just was the worst experience ever. And some, like, it even became like someone else joined afterwards, and they were talking, and the one person said, "Oh, well, now Seth is becoming a messiah, and he's now saving people." And I'm like, and I told him, "No, why are you talking like that? I never said that's what I do for a living. I just said that I do divination, and I do this practice that's unusual. It's not normal, and that's all I said." And then it seemed like you were frightened when I said there's something in that room, but why? There's nothing malicious about it. Why are you being reactive like this? What did I do to you to be reactive towards me? What did I do to you? Right? So it is a curse in many situations, but at the same time, it's your thing, and it's better not to think of it as a curse. It's better to think of it as part of you. For me personally, I don't think of it as a blessing or a curse. I just think of it as, this is Seth. That's it. It's Seth. I see these things. I do them. I see them. They're there. I read tarot. I read the cards, which is for many people is like a crazy person, lunatic, a gypsy lunatic who's just doing a bunch of nonsense, and that's it. And I don't care. It's Seth. It's Seth, and that's what he does, and that's all there is to it. Um, Because when you start thinking of it as a curse, and it takes you towards the negative side, you have to give love to yourself. You can't love yourself if you think you have a curse. How can you love yourself and respect yourself if you think you're cursed? No, you're not cursed. That's a gift. You're one of the very few people who have it, and it's okay. It's okay. Um, the reason why another thing for people out there who they might ask, well, Seth, how can you defer or how can you differentiate between the fact that you're not just hallucinating? This is just not in your mind. Because again, a lot of people, that's what they're gonna say. They think that this is just in your mind or in my mind, right? Because they can't see it. Well, how I can differentiate and how I can know that it's not just in my mind is that I'm able to live a regular life as well. I function properly in society. I pay my bills. I do everything like a normal person in terms of buying food, going somewhere, going to the airport to travel. When it's time to visit family members, I visit them. This life, being Seth, is not causing me trouble. Is not causing me pain. It's not interfering with my being. It's not. So I know it's not hallucinations. For the people who can't function properly in their daily lives, that's a different problem. That's a different problem. That becomes psychosis. It becomes like something that will require medical attention. But for me and for other practitioners, these things are there. Yet I'm able to function properly in the society. I can talk to anyone outside. And they don't have to be spiritual, they don't have to be religious. They can be religious. I talk to religious people, I talk to spiritual people, I talk to atheists, I talk to regular 9-to-5ers, I talk to anyone. And I can have a normal conversation with them. I talk to family members and have a normal conversation with them. And this doesn't intervene with me, how I react or how I behave with society in general. Because if it was otherwise, if it was just hallucinations, that will interfere in my day-to-day life. I will start imagining things when I'm at the supermarket. I'll be like, oh, I'm imagining a spirit at the aisle of I don't know, the aisle where they sell bananas. I see the banana spirit. He's here. He's guarding the bananas. See, that's me hallucinating, right? But it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work like that. If anything, to strangers, when I talk to strangers, I seem to them as the most normal, regular person they've ever met. And I can talk with them about 9 to 5, finances, politics, what the world is going on right now. And I don't talk about these things in this channel, but I can. You want to talk politics? Let's talk politics. You want to talk finances and money and investments? Let's talk that. You want to talk like whatever is happening in the world in several countries right now? Let's talk about that. I'm a completely normal person. You won't see even 1% of Seth Alchemist in my conversations when I'm with a stranger. I never say a word of what I do. I never say anything. Because in society, sometimes you have to act like a normal person. In society, sometimes you have to talk to people like a normal person because they are not at that level yet. Because when they're going to give you a service, for example, I don't know, any kind of service or any kind of thing that you need, you have to meet them at their level. So you speak their language. But when I get a reading order or a consultation order for someone who wants me to become Seth Alchemist, then I talk to them as Seth Alchemist. Then I talk to them the same way I'm talking to you guys right now. So this is kind of it's this Seth Alchemist is exclusive to you guys. It's exclusive to you because when I'm outside in society, it's not Seth Alchemist. I become a human being who's walking amongst other human beings. I camouflage myself. Why? So I can survive. Because I can't go out there and say, I'm Seth Alchemist in society, I can't survive. People are going to come after me, and I'm aware of that. So remember, it's not a curse. It's you. It's part of you. It's a side of you. But I hope it helps. I hope it helps. Thank you very much for all the people who left beautiful comments or questions. Thank you to all of you who have joined. Thank you to the haters as well. You guys are very active as well, but you're gonna get kicked out as well. HS, I just subscribed. Thank you very much for your subscription. Welcome to the channel. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Um, the mods are doing a phenomenal job. By Rush, thank you. Yes, yes. Thank you very much. I also thank you guys. Thank you. Um, because yeah, the haters sometimes they they overdo it. They overdo it. Oh, Pierre Duhame asks, well, you were an atheist, as in, like, if I was an atheist prior. You mean when I was a normal person? When I was a normal person, I was neutral. I was completely neutral. Before I had this experience of starting seeing things, I wasn't religious, and I wasn't religious at all with any religion, and I wasn't an atheist 1000%. I kind of like thought that maybe there is something out there. There is a sort of energy or power or source. I was kind of open-minded about it. I was neutral. I wasn't like, no, I'm atheist. There's no creation. There's no God. There's no. I wasn't like that. And for religion, I'm like, well, each religion have their own stories, and I never like hated religions. I never was against religions. I was actually interested in the stories of religions. I found the religious stories very interesting because they're stories. So I always wondered about their if they were true or not, and that was it. That was about it. But I was always fascinated by anything that's out of the ordinary, something that's outside of the box. For example, it could be even at work or at school when where I went for my degree, or even at the places of work that I went to. Anything that was outside of the box, anything that was different, caught my attention. If people liked one thing, like if let's say if there's 10 people, 9 will like this thing, I would always like the other thing. I was always the black sheep, if you will. Like I would always have a different point of view or different opinion or something weird. A lot of people used to call me weirdo as a joke, or you're weird. A lot of people in normal conversations. This is before me becoming even spiritual. They would call me, you're different, you're weird. I heard that a lot from a lot of people, a lot along my life, or you're unique, or I heard those words before. So, but being religious or being atheist, I was neither nor. I was just like neutral, right? So I was open for like just living my life, and then all of a sudden one day, and then what am I seeing? And it was not ayahuasca, it was not weed, it was not mushroom, it wasn't anything. I was just lying down on my bed. I was not intoxicated with anything. That's the other thing that people get surprised about when I tell them my story. They're like, "Are you sure you were not on something?" And I'm like, "Of course I'm sure, because why would I lie about it? If I was on mushrooms or weed, I would say yes, I smoked some weed before. No, I was on nothing at all." And that's what was even crazy. So, because some people start seeing spirits when they smoke or when they have mushrooms and they start seeing things. So for me, it was completely different. Um, let's see. Thank you to all of you who are joining. Uh, Mike Avery said, "Well, I don't know if they're spirits. I call them shadow people." Yes, they can appear as shadow, but they're spirits. They have features, and their eyes are very distinct. Their noses are very distinct. Their mouths are very distinct. Whatever features they have, they're distinct. Actually, well, when they just pass by, you can see them as shadow. But when they show up in your dream, for example, or in sleep paralysis, and if your gift of the seeing is very enhanced and it's really out there, you can draw them. You can draw them like with features and everything. You can draw exactly how they look like. What else? Yes, yes. Ugra Kant says hello from France. Hello, salut, salut. It's kind of fascinating how most of the times it's the ones who don't believe that end up seeing and hearing spirits. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And thank you for joining in from France. France is a beautiful, beautiful country. I love that country so much. Paris is incredible. Paris is the city of the occult. Um, like just the amount of alchemy that's there, the amount of cathedrals that have ancient knowledge, wisdom, the energy there. Paris is an incredible city. If you don't just do the what you see on social media, I'm talking about if you do a spiritual tour in Paris and visit the monuments and the cathedrals and the Freemasonry that's there. Like the Freemasons, they have a lot of locations in there. There's even the Museum of Freemasonry in Paris as well. And like it's really a city that has so much soul. Paris has so much soul, but again, you will only feel that if you're gifted. If you're a normal person, you're not gonna feel that. I say it and I repeat it. If you're a normal person, you're gonna go to Paris and you're not gonna feel anything, and you're just gonna think it's a random city. Okay, so there's two types of visiting. So yes, but I agree with you. I agree with you, Ugra. Yes, the people who usually don't believe in spirits are the ones who end up seeing them at some point. um, thank you for all the people who just joined. Hello, hello, Ahmed Tahan, Amy Joe. Hello, Bavra, Danielle. I'm glad, Danielle, you said it's powerful confirmation. I'm glad this, whatever I share, acted as a confirmation for you. You guys are awesome. Aaron. Hello, Catherine. Hello to all of you who just joined. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, Gerardo Galvez. This you guys, this you can benefit from as well. This is interesting. This question. Okay. Um, he said. Okay, so I'm gonna read exactly what you wrote, and I'm gonna interpret it because. So Gerardo Galvez said, "I'm a woman recently, not too long ago, when I hugged her." So you mean you met a woman not too long ago, and you hugged her? You said, when I hugged her, I felt like a dark spirit or something enter me. Okay. Ever since then, I don't feel like myself. I feel drained and always tired. Binding spell. Okay. So, Gerardo, you kind of got what's happening to you. You kind of got it, but you did bring something with you home from that woman. Please, no, you're not haunted. You're not haunted. You're not haunted. You just brought something with you home. That's it. Because a lot of people are going to get scared and think, I'm haunted, I'm haunted. Oh my God, I'm haunted. No, you're not haunted. And this personally have happened to me before, and it doesn't have to be through a person. It could be through a location. You go to some location, something gets attached to you, you bring it back home without realizing. And sometimes it happens with people. Something is attached to a person, you hug or you even talk. You don't even need to touch, and it transfers. It comes to you because it wants to, for the same reasons you're mentioning, it wants to feed off your energy. That's why you feel drained. That's why you feel tired. So what you do, you said here bind and spell. Here's what I'm going to recommend you. Cleanse. You have to cleanse your place. Do a huge cleansing ritual. Open up every door and window, open them up. Let the sunlight in. Take a bell or take a bowl made out of crystal or metal, and start making noise, like a ringing noise. It's better if you have a bell so it's easier, or if you have a singing bowl, for example. So make noise. It could be even clapping, even with claps. Go and clap around your home, and let the sunlight in. Remove the clutter, any stuff that's accumulated in closets or whatnot. If you have old stuff, get rid of them, donate them, cleanse your place, clean up. You should need to clean up as well. Once you're done cleaning up your place, you have to smudge it. Smudge it with whatever smoke that works for you, that resonates with you. Put your intention there. And as you're smudging the place, intend and ask the entity to leave. Order the entity to leave there, because that it's not their place. They're not welcome. And you're gonna go and do that few rounds in all rooms, all corners, all door entrances, the back of the doors, the corners, the window, the window edges, around the windows, and cleanse your place. Then you can take some salt, some sea salt or pink Himalayan salt, and sprinkle it around the corners of your home and the entrances, the doors, and at the windows. Cleanse, cleanse, cleanse. And that's the cleansing ritual that you need to do. And because this is a spirit that came to your home, it's not invited, it came by mistake. You haven't invited it to be there. So if you do it, it's going to leave because it wasn't invited. Again, as I mentioned earlier, the moment you invite a spirit to be there, it becomes way more complicated to get rid of that spirit. Versus if a spirit is just visiting, or you brought it by mistake from a location, or someone passed it on to you. You're saying bind and spell because you think that person bind it to you. If you're powerful enough, nothing can be binded to you. Okay? And I want to teach this to you guys because you're going to go to practitioners and they're going to tell you so many things, and they scare. Like, unfortunately, a lot of practitioners have the mission to scare people. This spirit, you're haunted. This spirit is binded to you. This thing is haunted in your home. You're gonna need to buy my potion, or else, or the spirit is not gonna go away. No, nothing can be binded to you unless you allow it. That person tried to attach the spirit to you, but you didn't give it permission. It will only work if it comes from both sides. If you agree to the spirit to be binded to you, then it will work like effectively, and it's gonna be a different story. But you didn't say a word. That thing was just attached to you, so it's gonna be easier to get rid of it. Okay, so just do a cleansing ritual and ask your guardian spirits or guardian demons or whichever deities you work with, ask them for protection as well. Invoke them for protection. So, but it's a very good question, because when you go out, you never know what you can bring back home with you. You never know. And as Gerardo says, the symptoms are usually what he said. You feel drained, completely drained. And I know what Gerardo, I know what you're talking about. You feel like someone is just sucking your energy without you doing anything. You're not doing anything and you're just drained. You start having little accidents in your home. You stub your toe, or you stub your finger, or you cut your finger when you're cutting with a knife, or I don't know, you stub your toe with the door, or like the glass that you drink from often, or the cup you just drops on the floor and it shatters, and you know they're gonna come with very weird feelings. These accidents, when they happen, they're gonna come with weird negative feelings. It's not just accidents, because there's gonna be times when you drop a mug and it's gonna be normal and it's okay. We all have accidents like that. But there's gonna be other times when you drop a mug and you're gonna know it's weird. You're gonna know that that was intended. It's as if someone did it. So you'll know when it's a spirit. You'll know it. Hello, hello. Someone is asking, what's my ethnicity? I don't disclose my ethnicity or my background or where I'm from because I'm a human being and that's all that matters. And I'm here to do whatever I'm doing. My background, my ethnicity, my culture, my language, my like everything that belonged to me when I was a normal person doesn't matter and it should matter. And it's honestly irrelevant, honestly. And I know usually people, they're curious, they're just out of curiosity, people are just curious where people are from. I understand that. I travel a lot and that's the first question that comes out: where are you from, where are you from, right? But I never disclose that. And like especially publicly, like here on YouTube and in the Seth Alchemist world, I never disclose that because it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. The moment you know someone's background or ethnicity or whatnot or flag or mother language, the moment you know that, you're gonna start putting a persona on that person and you're gonna start judging them subconsciously. I'm not saying you're a bad person. It's a program that was taught to you because society told you that's what you do. You know where someone is from, then you start judging them based on where they're from. You know what someone speaks, you know what someone eats, you know someone's flag, and then you start building your own persona for them. No, it's not supposed to be like that. I'm Seth Alchemist, that's all that matters. The rest does not matter. It's irrelevant. Literally irrelevant. Okay. Hello, Loretta. Oh, we've been here for a while. Maybe a couple more questions and I should wrap it up. Hello to all the newcomers. Thank you for all the loving comments, the loving people. Hello, Malaika. Good afternoon. Back to Ireland. Back to Ireland. You mean you're from Ireland or going back to Ireland? But either way, thank you very much for tuning in. Hello, Jen, Zainab. Hello to all of you who just joined. I appreciate it. Let's see if there's another question. You know, here Zainab Dean said, I don't read tarot, but I did back in high school, and just used them as a tool to feel and know. Scared the heck out of some classmates who I didn't really know, and hanged out with them when I told them. Yeah. Some people get scared of the tarot, of the, like, you only get scared of what you don't know. What's tarot's cards? Why would you be scared of cards? Can you imagine? As I said earlier, some people in the beginning of this live, I said some people get triggered by my eyeliner. They get triggered by it, or they get scared, or I don't know what. Why would you get scared from cards? They're just cards, right? But they hold knowledge. They hold beautiful knowledge that dates back to ancient Egypt. So isn't that beautiful? Knowledge that can help many people along their journeys, along the journey, like the 22 major arcanas. They're full of wisdom, full of knowledge, and we still have this knowledge. If it's from ancient Egypt, and it is, that means it's thousands of years old, and it dates back, even if it's from ancient Egypt, it means it's from Atlantis. So we have something that have survived tens of thousands of years, and why should we be scared of it? Why should we be scared of it? It's just knowledge. Why be scared of knowledge? So but yeah, like I Zainab, like there's some people get scared of anything nowadays because humanity are conditioned to be fearful. Like that's the day and age we live in right now. It's just you need to be scared of everything. Um, thank you for the kind comments. Thank you, everyone. Yes. Isvin wrote a beautiful comment. You don't need to justify yourself in front of people who don't understand anything on a deeper level. It drains. I absolutely agree with you. Beautifully put. Thank you for writing down this comment. It's 100% true. When you're with normal people, there's no need for you to justify yourself. And you're right by adding at the end, it drains. It does drain. When, like that experience I had with that group of people, when it fired back at me, and it was just like I felt kind of sad afterwards. I felt sad and depressed. But this happened years ago. But it does drain you. It fires back and it drains you. Why? Because you're opening up to people. So might as well open up to the very, very, very few people who actually love you and who actually who you can trust. So beautiful comment. Hello, Asafo. Hello, and liberalism. Hello, Ricardo. I hope I'm pronouncing your names right. I'm sorry if I'm butchering them. And liberalism. In your opinion, who was the wisest you mean ascended master to ever live? Ascended master. Um, Ascended master means the enlightened beings who have reached enlightenment and who came here to help people, like Buddha, like Jesus, like many others before. Like there's no wisest. There's no wisest. There's actually many sages who no one knows about. There are, even the Buddha himself says this. There are many Buddhas, enlightened beings, who have helped humans in the past, and no one knows their names. No one knows who they are. The very few ones we know are just maybe the few, maybe like what, 10% of them that we know. Many have existed in ancient past, and their names were not recorded, and many have existed even in recent past, but they existed in local areas that no one has been to, so no one wrote about them or recorded them, like with the Buddha. But we have these prominent figures, like say Siddhartha Gautama, and with Jesus, for example. These are the prominent figures, because people wrote about them, because after they died, people wrote about their lives. That's why we know them. But there has been countless wise, beautiful masters, men and women as well. And they never did it to become famous. They never did it for other people. Sorry, they never did it for fame or for money or to be known. They only did it to help people. And many of them passed, and their names are not known, and that's it. Because the purpose is not to be known. You know, if you're a real master, you have to be completely okay with not being famous, not being known. If anything, I think personally speaking, I think the masters and the sages that help the most people are not known, and they're not famous. Those are the ones who help the most people. No one knows about them. So that's my opinion about that. But thank you for the question. Uh, Malika said, "Isn't global politics, events, etc., intertwined with what's happening spiritually?" It is and it isn't. It is and it isn't, because when you say spiritually, yes, I understand your question, but politics are a curse. Politics are a system of control that was designed by humans for controlling other humans. So there's nothing spiritual about it. For me, this is the opinion of Seth Alchemist, okay? It's not the opinion of other humans. It's just my opinion. It's just my point of view. For me, the idea, okay, of voting for one person or a group of people for those people to rule and to tell me what to do or to tell the world what to do simply means slavery. That's all it means to me. It's been happening. It happened in the past with kingdoms, with kings, with queens, with royals, with emperors thousands of years ago, and now it's still happening with presidents and the country's rulers. It's slavery. Everyone is a slave. Vote, go vote for me so I can rule you. This concept itself never made sense to me, the same way how money never made sense to me. And that's why I told you, yes, I'm crazy and I'm a lunatic. So for me, politics is a nasty system of control that was created by humans who want power to stay in power. They created that so they can stay there. That's it. And so they can control other humans, lie to them all the time, lie to them, trick them, lure them, and stay in power, stay in control, make most of the money, and let the population suffer. Yet, they ask you to vote for them because they make you believe that they care for you, because they make you believe that they're going to help you in their mansions, in their yachts, while they travel the world and stay in five-star hotels every single week. Of course, politics are not intertwined with spirituality. I don't think they're intertwined. I think politics is a man made curse that, again, it was created for control, and that's all there is to it. There's nothing spiritual about politics. Nothing. But I see where you're coming from. You mean like because of the wars that are happening and the like this is not spiritually ethical because we need to love each other and we need peace. Of course, spirituality is all about peace and love and about not harming each other. But how about we can go even deeper? How about removing? This is not a lot of people are not going to like that. How about removing the borders between countries around the world? How about we become one human nation, worldwide nation? How about that? And all the cultures should mix together. How about that? And how about the wealth should be distributed equally to every single human being around the world? How about that? No, of course that's never gonna happen. You know why? Because it never existed and it will never exist. Because humans, I said it in the beginning of this live, they're the masters of separation. They love to separate. Humans love to separate things. So borders between countries shouldn't exist. They should not exist. The wealth should be distributed equally around the world. Money shouldn't exist. Some people are going to be like, but that's, yeah. But let's go to the root of the problem and cut it. To remove a disease from the body, you have to go to the root of the disease and cut it and remove it. Otherwise, the disease will remain in the body. You have to go to the roots and remove it. How come we don't live in a world without money? Can you imagine living in a world that doesn't have money? That world exists. It's actually the higher realms. You know, the higher realms don't have money, and they call them heaven. So how come we're not making Earth as a heaven? Why don't we remove money, the borders? How come humans are not living all together in just one thing? So politics never made sense to me. I never thought of it as something spiritual. Politics are the opposite of spirituality. They are the opposite. They only care about serving the 1%, the politics of the whole world, not just one country or the other. The politics of the whole world only think about serving the 1% for the benefit of the 1% so they can stay rich and become richer and richer and richer and richer while fooling the average person who's asleep to believe that they care for them. That's what politics are. So, can we live in a world that doesn't have politics? Not on this earth. Not on this earth. Maybe in another dimension, but not on this earth. Yeah, but that's my opinion. I know this is probably going to be different from other people's opinions because you might think, well, how can you run a country if you don't have politics, right? But that's what I think. Nefera, thank you so much for the beautiful comment. I'm happy to help if you think I'm helping through these lives or through these videos. I'm glad. I'm glad. Thank you so much for your kind comments. And let's see, maybe a couple more, and then I'll end this live. But it's really interesting to be with you guys here to answer your questions, to connect with you. Hello, Urfan, Singh. Hello. Uh, hello. I see. I think this is Japanese name, Yamamoto. I think. Hello. Maybe you're from Japan. Hello, home. Hello, Harley. Let's see another question. Okay. Ninu said, "Oh my God, same. I even was a black sheep, and people would call me weirdo." Yeah, that's usually how it works. you, Ninu, that's how it works. When you're the black sheep, people are gonna call you weirdo. It's okay. Own it. It's cool to be weird. It's good. The weird people are the ones who change the world. They're the ones who move the world forward. They're the weird people, not the normal people. So embrace your weirdness. Be totally okay with it. You want to be unique. You want to be weird. You want to be different. You don't want to be uh, just following the rules like everyone else. And Crystal Cara, this is a question that what does occult really mean? I explain this almost in every video I post, but I'm gonna add it here as well. Thank you very much for asking it, because it's what I do in this channel. Occult. Occults, by dictionary definition, if you go to the dictionary and research the word occults, it means hidden. What's occult is what's hidden. Okay? What's hidden? It's usually the knowledge, wisdom, and truth, and the unseen. These are the things that are usually hidden. That's why this field is called the occult, or occult practices, or occult sciences, even, if you will, because it dabbles or it delves into what's hidden, everything that is taboo, if you will, because the taboo is hidden, such as magic, such as alchemy, such as, and I'm not talking about spiritual new age alchemy, I'm talking about real alchemy, because real alchemy is way more complex and complicated and has a lot of nuances, not spiritual alchemy that comes from Carl Jung. That's not what I'm talking about. So I'm talking about real alchemy. That's also occult, magic, rituals, spells, sigils, like all of these things that I address in this channel. Tarot that holds amazing knowledge and wisdom that dates back to ancient Egypt. That's occult as well. So all these sciences that are hidden, that are taboo, that are not allowed to be talked about, they are occult. They are hidden. Also, the spirit realm, it's occult because it's hidden, because you can't see it with your two physical eyes. You need to have a third eye that it's open. You need to have a certain heightened sense to be able to feel or to see the spiritual realm, the realm of the unseen, the occult realm. So it's occult is not cult, because they're very close words in when you hear them phonetically, they kind of sound similar, but no, a cult is someone at the top. It's a group of people that follow someone at the top, and that leader tells them whatever they want to do, and the group of people, they do it. So that's a cult, and that's probably what governments do. You have one person, you have a country, it's a group, you have one person at the top of the country, or one government. We talk about politics, one government, and then most of the people, not every people, but most of the people, they follow that group, or they follow that leader. That's a cult. And cult is similar to the word culture. So cult, culture, because culture is a set of rules and habits that are agreed on by a group of people. That means if you belong to a culture, you belong to a cult. because you all agree on the same thing. This is my culture. It's in the word, it exists. Culture, culture. So it's a cult. So culture, in a way, is a cult. Not in the dangerous sense of what a cult is, but it's a cult. But occult, that has the O at the beginning, OCCULT, it's a different word. That means anything that is hidden, that people don't discuss, that's in the darkness. And that's why in this channel, I always say embrace your darkness. I even wrote a book called How to Embrace Your Darkness, because the darkness is occult. And in the occult, in the darkness, is where you're going to find the answers. It's not the bad darkness. It's not the darkness that represents the bad side of you. This is the beautiful darkness, the yin, the other side, the other half, the nighttime, which is equal to daytime. Okay? So I hope this answers your question. But thank you for asking, because I explained this word many, like countless times on this channel, but um, uh, like I'm gonna keep explaining it again. Zainab said occult means hidden knowledge. Exactly, hidden knowledge. Yeah. So that's another definition of it. Thank you, Zainab, for answering. Here I see in the chat. Yeah, like Melissa Brady said here, something interesting. My ex-boyfriend used to put curses on me, and it used to work because I hated myself. Yeah, like the curses will most likely work, hexes, curses, if, as what Melissa said, if you hate yourself, if you don't respect yourself, if you condemn yourself, if you're always negative, if you have the tendency to be negative all the time, if you indulge in toxic habits all the time, if you don't give value to yourself. Yes, the curses and the hexes, they vibrate on a negative low frequency. So if you match that frequency, that low frequency, if you match it, there's a high chance that they're going to work. But if you're higher, if your frequency is much higher, if you vibrate off the frequency of love, of positivity, they're not going to reach you. Okay? Um, Maybe one more question, and I'm going to call it alive. Adam Lucas, interesting question here. Hey Seth, I tried to eat some meat yesterday after a week of going vegan. I couldn't continue to eat because the guilt overwhelmed me and I felt off eating it. So that's very interesting that happened to you only 1 week after eating meat. That's very interesting because usually it's transitional. And if that happened to you, it's a big sign that you're supposed to cut meat from your life and it's not for you. And eating meat, it's heavy. It's meat is a heavy nutrient that keeps you glued to the physical reality. The less meat you eat, the higher you're gonna feel spirit, the higher you're gonna connect to the spiritual realm. So maybe your body is craving vegetables and fruits, and it's rejecting meat because it wants to feel the frequency of spirit. It wants to become lighter, and that's why it's rejecting it right now. The guilt is part of it too, because you're becoming more sensitive to the energies of the animals as well. So it's all interconnected. So if your body's rejecting it, keep doing so. Keep eating less meat or cut down on the quantities of meat until just gradually. Don't do it overnight. Don't do it just at cold turkey because that can fire back. A lot of people who try to go vegan or they try to go on a plant-based diet and they try to do it like cold turkey, they end up coming back to eating meat. Do the how it works properly is if you do it gradually, incrementally. Just take your time. It's gonna take months. Sometimes it's gonna take a year or more for the transition to happen. For me, it took about 1 year, less than a year. It took less than a year for the transition to happen. I did it gradually, and it's been a decade. I haven't had a single piece of meat or fish or any kind of meat or eggs or that stuff. What else? The cheese or that stuff. I haven't had that in a decade. Um, every now and then I have a guilty pleasure of a cake because I used to love cake a lot, especially chocolate cake. So I know cake has those ingredients. They has dairy products or whatnot, and sometimes it even have eggs, and that disgusts me because I can smell the egg. I can smell it, but It's for the meats. Like even when let's say if I have a cake and I have just like I have one spoon and that's it, just that one spoon and I'm done. I don't even finish the whole thing. So, but that's like once in a while, once in every many months. I don't even have cravings for that. But like the diet should go transitional. For meat, me too. Like meat makes like if even if I smell it, it makes me throw up. It makes me want to throw up. If I there's cooked meats around me, it really gives me like a bad feeling. So I can't even be close to cooked meat. Otherwise, I feel weird. I don't like it. So for me, it's been a decade. I haven't had any, including fish. Fish is even the worst. The smell of fish is, ugh, it's crazy. And this is coming from a person who used to eat everything. I used to eat everything prior to my transition. Everything. I used to eat everything, every kind of meat you can imagine, eggs, cheese, all of that stuff, everything. And now meat revolts me. It revolts me, like literally. So if you felt that after just 1 week, congratulations. Keep moving on this path, but take it one step at a time. This is the advice I have to tell you, Adam. Take it one step at a time. Don't guilt yourself if sometimes you feel like you're having meat because it's the transition and you have it. Don't guilt yourself. It's okay. The fact that you're starting is actually already amazing. Okay. And let's see, maybe one more. And if not, thank you. Thank you for the beautiful comments. Thank you, Ugra, for your nice comment. I appreciate it. Don't Manosense says, have you ever solved your reincarnation? You mean if I know what my purpose of this reincarnation? I'm not sure. Maybe clarify. But I will do another live about reincarnation. There's so much to share about that for you guys. Thank you. Yeah, it's okay. Shadow Girl 6, if you can't make it to this session, you can rewatch it at your own convenience. Thank you very much for all the people who joined. Okay. Uh, let's see. Let's see. Maybe one more. And yes, yes, Mr. Hobbs, yes. Mrs. Hobbs, sorry. I believe the answer to my question is embracing my weirdness. Yes, totally. And okay, maybe this is a good question here. Uh, Mandy West asked, "How to heal yourself as an alchemist?" So healing, we have different types of healing. There's physical healing, there's emotional healing, and there is spiritual healing. There's many types of healings. But one way to heal yourself, because I wish the question was more elaborated. Do you mean spiritual or do you mean physical? Um, I'm gonna go with the spiritual. I'm gonna answer it as you asked, as if you asked spiritual healing. So for healing spiritually, has to do with um, walking on the path of transformation, of transmutation, while applying the practices that you need to do in order to remove what doesn't belong in your soul. Again, in alchemy, this is called the darkening stage or the black stage, or the nigredo stage. And you healing, it's not something that you should think of as spiritual healing. You're not supposed to think of it as something that is going to happen after you do one practice and it's done. So it's a long journey, and it's working on yourself. It's maybe some toxic habits that you had and you have to get rid of them, and maybe they stem from childhood, and it's maybe like a sort of behavior that takes a toll on you. Maybe you have anger issues, or maybe you're reactive, or it could be even because spiritual healing can be connected to even to the physical body, because the body is the representation of spirit. It could be habits of eating unhealthy or doing drugs. So if you want to heal yourself, if you want to heal your soul, because when you say spirit, so spirit is what's around us. That's why I say this, the spiritual realm. But what's inside of you, that's the soul, that's the anima. So healing your soul in order for it to connect to spirit. The first step that we do as alchemists is to dissolve, is to undo. Alchemy is about undoing and not doing. Alchemy is about reducing, it's about dissolving. You undo, you reduce, you dissolve. You empty your backpack. That's the first stage of alchemy. That's what Nigredo is all about. You dissolve, you reduce, you break down yourself bit by bit, pieces to small pieces. Not as in like you break your heart or you break yourself. It's just you fragment yourself. Why do you fragment yourself? Because you want to find your core. And when you fragment yourself, when you start decomposing, you're going to figure out what belongs to you and what doesn't belong to you. And what doesn't belong to you, you leave it behind. For example, when you start dissolving and breaking down who you truly are, you're going to find, oh, I have this good quality. It's amazing. I'm going to keep it. I'm generous. I'm going to keep this quality. This is amazing. And then you're going to realize, oh, I have this anger quality. I'm very reactive. I get angry out of nowhere. Now that's something I need to get rid of. So how do I get rid of it? And you work on yourself to get rid of that anger, to get rid of that reactiveness, because it's a bad thing. It doesn't belong to you. It doesn't belong to your core. It's a negative thing. And that's how you go through every aspect in your life. That's how you do the healing. So sometimes it's about getting rid of what doesn't belong to you, instead of, for example, the shadow work method, the Carl Jung method that I addressed in my previous live, which is revisiting the trauma in order to heal it. In alchemy, it's you locate what's wrong and you get rid of it. You cut it because it's not yours. It doesn't belong to you. It's part of your past. And the past is an illusion because the only thing that exists is now. So you undo, you dissolve. Metallurgical alchemists, they used to do this through breaking down the metal. They put it under high heat to dissolve it, to break it down, so they can remove the nasty parts from the metal, from lead, or whatever metal they work with. So in order for this to happen, for this healing to happen, similarly, something has to happen in your life, which is a tower moment, which is in metallurgical alchemy, in the laboratory alchemy, that's the fire. To dissolve the metal, you have to put it under fire. It's something very it's hot. It can burn you. It's like danger. It's dangerous. It's not something pleasant. So in real life, the equivalent of the fire that's gonna break you down, that's gonna dissolve you, because this solution doesn't happen just out of nowhere. You can't be sitting there and saying, oh, I'm gonna move into the dissolution stage, and then It's not going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. Something needs to be introduced from the universe in order for the dissolution to happen. That's the fire. In real life, that's a tower moment. Trauma happens in your life. It happens to a lot of people through breakups, losing your job, an illness that happens to you, a chronic illness or a very serious illness. Many things that trigger people's uh, like journey in order for them to start the journey towards healing. So something is gonna happen in your life that's gonna engender you to dissolve. Once you dissolve, you're gonna find your true core and you're gonna find out who you truly are. That's what I say all the time. You have to find out who you truly are. And once you find out who you truly are, you build on that to become your greatest version. So in alchemy, we have dissolution first. In order to heal, you start with the dissolution, breaking down, reducing yourself to your core. And then from there, you build again. So first, the wave have to go down, and then it goes up. And you build again, and build again until you become closer to your higher self. You rise from the ashes like a phoenix. The phoenix is red, and it's the representation of the philosopher's stone, of the red stage, of the rubedo stage. That's the third stage. When you rise from the ashes, what ashes? The ashes of yourself that you dissolved, that you burnt. So it's like you burn yourself, you kill yourself in order to be reborn again from your own ashes, from the old ashes. But this time you're reborn beautiful, pure, and the nasty stuff, you leave them behind. That's how it works. Okay? And on this note, I'm going to close this live. Thank you very much to all of you who were present. I hope this helped. If you have any other questions, you can either leave them on the comment section, or if you have a comment, leave it there. Thank you to all of you who were present, to the moderators. I truly appreciate it. I'm gonna do more of these lives because they're real, they're raw. We can discuss a lot of things. Maybe you can learn from whatever I share with you, and I can learn from you as well. It goes both ways. Thank you very much for sticking around. And the next live is probably going to be a tarot reading. So prepare your questions if you have, if you want to ask something to know about your life. Prepare them. And until the next time I see you, thank you. Have an amazing day. And I'll see you in the next live. Thanks.